What is good, chat? Let me know if y'all can hear me. All right, the computer's acting a little funky. I don't know. It may be the Matrix. I don't know. All right, you let me know if you can hear me. But we're gonna go ahead and get on with the show. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing today, guys? We're gonna be talking about some interesting news. That's right. We're cutting the music. Hold up. We are cutting the music. Stop everything. All right, because listen. I told you, some of you guys who didn't believe that the backlash that Candace Owens is receiving right now has gotten worse. Well, it's getting worse. A lot of people are now starting to realize that this woman, her credibility and integrity, whatever is left of it, might not be all there, right? And what would have gotten people to this conclusion, all right? What would have gotten people to get to this point where they're starting to realize, and by people, let me specify, these are right-wingers. These are conservatives, right? Not only the other side is calling them out, but their own conservative team are starting to realize something's fishy here, right? So why would they come to that conclusion? Well, it's because of Andrew Tate. That's right, Andrew Tate. And why would Andrew Tate be the reason why Candace Owens right now is starting to lose credibility? Well, it's because Candace Owens is known for how she basically is like a pit bull, right? She'll go after anybody on the side that she doesn't agree with, right? When we're talking about the LGBTQ, when we're talking about Cardi B, hip hop, when we're talking about black people, all right? She always has something to say. And when she says something, she's always on point, right? She's done her job in parading herself as someone who does the research, someone who is well, credible, right? You can trust her, right, on the conservative side, because when she says something, it sounds like she knows what she's talking about. Well, with the Andrew Tate, it seems like all of that, just take that and throw that in trash, okay? Because the whole interview with people are watching, it seems as though she didn't do any research whatsoever, and it pretty much played this game where she was kind of, taking it easy on Andrew Tate, but trying to make it seem like she was asking the tough questions, right? And then obviously the whole thing got spun into the whole political agenda in which the right is trying to push, right? The whole COVID, the whole men being weak, the whole what do you call females rule the world, and traditional family values going down the wayside because of lefties policies, right? All these different things. They got into politics. And here's the one thing I want to specify, okay? This is the one major thing I want to specify for you guys, because a lot of times the reason why there's some Christians and there's reason why there's some conservatives, right? Whether you're Islam or whatever side of the field you fall into, the reason why they are aligning themselves with Andrew Tate, at least the bulk of them anyway, is because they align politically, right? Because Andrew Tate speaks out against the agenda by calling out the Matrix, because the Matrix is poisoning all these men, and it's poisoning society, and now they're trying to get him hemmed up on trafficking charges, right? It's not like he did it. No, it's a Matrix, because he's speaking so much truth, apparently. So listen, all right. Apparently, this whole thing got blown out of the water because everyone who's done the research would know, right? And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to do the research. Anyone who's done their research would know that Andrew Tate is guilty. Okay, and I don't care if you're still on the fence. If you're on the fence at this point, you need your head checked, all right? And that's the problem, because Andrew Tate says a lot of the things these guys agree with politically. Okay, they're gonna just forget all the other evidence, or just put the blinders on and pretend not to see it. But that's the case we're dealing with, right? A lot of these young men who are putting the blinders on because they're listening to Andrew Tate, and he's talking about the Matrix and society and the LGBTQ and the feminization of men and all these crazy nonsense, right? And the guys who are disenfranchised, they feel it. They feel that something's wrong, and he's the only one speaking to him. And to be fair to Andrew Tate, he is the only one. I wouldn't say, the only one, but the only one that's speaking to young men in that kind of manner, right? Because realistically, if he didn't have the money and, whatever, his generic motivational talking points really wouldn't land as hard, because there are other people who can speak better facts than Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate just seems like he skims off the book. No, seriously, if you just listen to him say something, all right, I don't know what you tater tots are listening to, but if you listen to him say something, it sounds super basic, okay? I don't know what else to say, okay? But if it wasn't for the money and the way, the delivery, actually, the delivery in which he delivers the standardized matrix agenda, right? Well, a lot of kids wouldn't be following him, right? But to be fair to Andrew Tate, he is the only one right now in that caliber that is speaking to young men. And that's very unfortunate because it does let you know how far society has fallen when it comes to looking at certain issues that men are going through. And I hope there are other people out there on different sides of the aisle, all right, that can step up and kind of, replace the crazy nonsense we're seeing in this space, right? Because it's getting ridiculous, honestly. But moving that aside, Candace Owens, obviously we could tell she didn't do her research, because what ended up happening is a lot of the stuff that were out there, it seems like she put the blinders on too, because she agrees with Andrew Tate politically. And it's gotten to the point where the backlash is getting pretty crazy, right? Now, there are articles that are being written about this, and one of them is actually slamming conservatives. And I also said this before. I said what's going to end up happening is a bunch of conservatives are going to start getting slimed with this Andrew Tate, Tateism, bullshit, right? And y'all didn't believe me. I told y'all, like, listen, the other side of the aisle, okay, they're gonna start smearing the right with the Tateism, okay? Because listen, election is coming up, and they need to win, right? And that's what all of this has been about. It's just getting more votes, right, Candace? Getting more votes. But that's what it is. And I found this great article we're gonna read before we get into a couple of the videos that thoroughly exposed Candace Owens, particularly the interview she did with Andrew Tate. All right, and then afterwards, when the backlash just started to grow a little bit, she started to say, well, let me just come out with a video to explain, pretty much justify why I'm sticking by Andrew Tate, and did the interview I did with Andrew Tate, right? She goes in and does this whole video where she breaks down the Tate accusers, right? And again, when it comes to Candace Owens and research, those two apparently don't belong in the same room, because she basically read off the criminal complaint that was filed by the accusers, right? Not the accusers, I'm sorry, but by the alleged traffickers, okay? So Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, she basically read off their complaint, right? And then with her nice little way of, rephrasing and recontexting words and scenarios, she made it look as though that girl had a deep history of accusing men, which was not true. And I found an excellent breakdown to break it all apart, because Candace Owens, it's not looking too good for you in the streets. M. Dot, shout out to you for the $20 super chat. M. Dot says, when are Candace Owens and the other Tate allies going to debunk the War Room DMs or the videos that expose Tate? For example, CS Skeptic, Common Sense Skeptic, to counter these attacks on the reputation. Common Sense Skeptic was interviewed by Jason Whitlock this week. I saw that. Guys, we're going to have a jam-packed week, because more and more people are coming out and speaking out against the Tate bullshit, right? They're literally calling it the Tateism. Okay, it's getting branded as we speak right now, meaning it's getting set up to get done here. So let me pull up this article real quick. It's this guy right here. All right. We got another super chat. Antonio, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Antonio says, "Sup, dude? Coach Red Bull got stopped at the Ukrainian border and busted by the Ukrainian SBU again, and now going back to federal penitentiary." Oh, fuck. Yeah, damn, dude. This is a guy who's actually being stalked by the Matrix, and it's unfortunate that, it's not looking too good for him right now. Man, that's crazy. I mean, he took a gamble, though. I mean, what are you going to say, right? He took a gamble, and, he lost. But one thing I would applaud him for, he took a gamble, right? Because he knows he's going to die either way. Because either way, he gets sent off to a boot camp, or he stays and, or runs away and gets caught, then gets sent off to a boot camp. Either way, it's not a good scenario, right? But he chose the best scenario out of the bunch, and I respect him for it. But damn, dude, it sucks when you see someone who's actually getting affected by that. All right. So there was an article I found here. It said, and this was pretty recent. It was done yesterday. And it was basically saying against Andrew Tate, right? So Brandon O'Neill has an excellent essay in the Spiked on the Right grotesque infatuation with Andrew Tate. The Tate sympathy, and I'm reading the excerpt here, the Tate sympathy on certain sections of the right speaks to the evacuations of moral principles from the contemporary political discourse. It actually is unconscionable to get chummy with a man who allegedly exploits women for financial gain. There was a time where upstanding communities viewed pimps as the lowest of the low. Men in particular were full of contempt for these parasites who preyed on the economic anguish of women. He concludes, Tateism and wokeism are two cheeks of the same arse. I hope y'all reading that, okay? Because this right here was fast. Just reading this, I'm like, oh yeah, that you spitting. whoever wrote this essay, you are spitting right now. Tateism and wokeism are two cheeks of the same arse. Okay, the clash between these camps is a classic case of the narcissism of the small differences. It's a battle whose shrillness and noisiness disguise the fact that both sides are made up of narcissists who are fine with porn and prostitution and who believe men should have ownership of women, whether of their identities, the woke mob or their bodies, or the Tate mob, who prefer reason to conspiracy theory, sexual equality to misogyny, and decency to ugliness needs to speak up. Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. Because this is facts. Okay. So everything is starting to get branded as Tateism, right? Because the right, okay, these conservatives are now being seen as embracing Tate. All right. People are observing this. All right. People who are waking up on the right. They're probably saying, you know what? If the right, like Tucker Carlson, who they believed in, or Candace Owens, who they believed in, they're going to start gravitating towards a sex trafficker and a potential rapist like Andrew Tate. Is this really a party or a side for me, right? And you got to start asking yourself these questions if you're on that side, all right? Those of you guys who are starting to wake up from the brainwashing as we get closer to this guy's trial, and you're seeing the real matrix at play, guys like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who are high up when we talk about mainstream reach, right, or reach potential. You see these guys in real time actually playing games with information, right? All to make sure their side looks good because they align with them politically. So a lot of people aren't stupid. They're waking up and they're saying, hey, if you're done with this feminist bullshit that is making women go crazy, right, and this Tateism bullshit that's making these men go crazy, we need to start speaking up, all right? I absolutely agree with this. Let's continue. I think there's more. Oh, no, that's pretty much it. That was actually a pretty good article, right? So, guys, it's starting to grow, right? So there was a video that came up recently, and this one kind of broke down the the Candace Owens situation, and it's by, of course, MilkBarTV, right? But one thing I want to cover first is a lot of people are sending me DMs, and they're saying, Duke, listen, Duke, did you see that Andrew Tate has his cars? All right. Did you see that Andrew Tate is driving his supercars now? Not a Bugatti, but he's got a McLaren. All right. And now he's being seen out in town in fancy restaurants and things like that. Duke, what do you have to say to this? Doesn't this prove that he is free and the Romanian government actually have no evidence against him? No. You tater tots, you're a bozo. You guys are a bunch of brain fried potatoes if you believe that just because this guy is seen out there, all right, driving supercars already or getting it delivered to his house or being seen out in the town, don't let it fool you. See, what you tater tots got to understand is that Andrew Tate is absolutely king at this social media game, right? He's absolutely king at the social media game. Matter of fact, one could say that this whole social media and the usage of bots and in the way Tate uses bots, okay, one would say that Tate has created his own matrix, right? So it's not hard to actually see that. But no, Tate is a master of perception, meaning he knows how to get you to view things in a certain way, right? And the only way you can achieve that is while you're online, because when you're online, it's hard to fact check the bullshit, right? So what do you mean, Duke? Well, listen, what better way to prove to your audience that you still got it and you're still in charge by pretty much acting in defiance of the Romanian government right to their face, right? They confiscated your cars, okay? And the minute they let you off of house arrest, the one thing you do is go buy a supercar, right? Not only is Tate using that as a giant middle finger to the Romanian government saying, ha, 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 I'm still driving my sports cars and going out to eat at fancy restaurants. Realistically, he's doing it for the audience, okay? He's doing it as a fuck you to the government, but also for his audience. Because if his audience sees their leader going in adorned with his beautiful supercar, okay, to them, it gives them hope. It gives them a bunch of hope because it reminds them of the Tate before the prison, right? The Tate before the house arrest, right? It gives them a little glimpse of what things were before. That's why he's doing it, right? Because now you got him moving from house arrest to being locked down to the city, okay? He's already had his media team put out the PR campaign saying that I'm free, okay? Look, they have no evidence. I'm a free man. No, you're not. You're only free within the city confines. You can't leave. You got to have permission. You're under judicial control, okay? Those of you guys who've ever been arrested, all right, I'm not saying that's the bulk of you, but if you've ever been arrested and being let out on bond or bail, right, what ends up happening is you're under judicial control, okay? So he's effectively out on bail, if you want to call it that, okay? But he can't leave the city of Bucharest, all right, or the county. I think that's what they call it, right? So he goes out and he's having fancy dinners with a lot of his other stooges and whatnot. Again, this is to give you tater tots hope of, hey, maybe him being let out on bail and him being allowed to drive his cars and whatnot, it's a sign that he's innocent, right? Because this bolsters his claim that his many bots on his many social media accounts that he controls are saying, and the propaganda that are spreading out there, right? And it's easy for you guys to believe it, but don't believe it. He's doing all of this shit for show, right? Because they're seeing him out in restaurants, they're seeing him having dinner, they're seeing him in fancy supercars, right? Look at that nice little McLaren right there, you know, nice and purple, $200,000 car, if it was new and if he actually owned it, which we have evidence now that Tate doesn't own anything. But yes, we're looking at all of this PR campaign that he's doing to make it seem like to you guys that he's free and he's going to be allowed free. But in reality, this guy might be looking at 25 years plus in prison. Just let that sink in for a second. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this video. Why is this taking so long? What the hell? Hold up real quick. Why is this? Hold on real quick, chat. I gotta bring this up. Why is that not working? Hold up. Hang on, chat. All right, here we go. I gotta run some stuff on here. All right, hold on. Let me bring this up real quick, chat. All right, and shout out to MilkBarTV. All right, guys, go show MilkBarTV some love on the channel because this definitely needs more views. But let's go ahead and
who is suing her in Palm Beach County, Florida.
According to the Tate brothers, we're going to tell you who a human trafficking victim is by the two guys who have been charged with human trafficking this victim in Romania. So they're going to tell you who this victim is.
According to them, again, if you want to take their word for it.
We don't want to take their word for it. As we've already seen in previous videos that you've made, MilkBar, Tate is a compulsive liar.
Emma Gabby is a predator who has a long history of baiting men into sexual relationships for the specific purpose of destroying their lives. She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Oh, she said it. She was a minor. These are not guys who were 20 years old or 22 years old. These men are all into their mid-30s and above. Keith Fox was 57. Emma was 15. Dustin Milner was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Tyler Hensel was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Marlon Fisher was 34 years old. Emma was just 1 month out of her 16th birthday. She was 17. Joel Friedman was 39 years old. Emma was 17. So what we have here is a group of child predators, guys who are preying on young girls, saying, oh, woe is me, I was set up by this minor. That's what we have here. This is essentially Jeffrey Epstein saying, oh, I was having these underage girls come in and give me massages, but I didn't know they were under the age of 18. Silly me. These are guys who were looking for young women. And
look at that, bro. He's actually right. There's absolutely no excuse for a bunch of dudes who are in their mid-30s, 40s, and 50s, okay, to be speaking to a 17-year-old, 15-year-old girl. Okay, and then these guys are the ones that are turning around saying, oh, I got tricked. She tricked me. I was fooled. I'm serious. I got bamboozled, okay, by a 17-year-old. What are you guys, a bunch of Donnie boys? Huh? Getting tricked by 19-year-olds? Huh? Is that what it is? Come on, bro. Y'all knew what y'all were doing. Come on. And that's the thing these guys don't want to admit. It's crazy.
Emma, she looks very young, as you can see. How can a grown man in his mid-30s or older look at this girl and say, oh yeah, clearly she's overage? The responsibility is the adults to make sure that she's overage. So let's talk about the law in Florida regarding statutory rape and what this actually means. In Florida, anyone over the age of 24 cannot have sex with someone under the age of 18 years old, even if the person under the age of 18 years old lied about their age. Ignorance is not a defense. Even if they lied about their age, it is the responsibility of the adult to figure out the true age of the minor. This is the law. If you don't like the law, feel free to go and try to change the law.
Before she ever met a Tate brother, Emma Gabby was a sex worker. She had her own Pornhub account, and she could be contacted via a sex hotline. Again, that is before she ever met a Tate brother.
All right. In the actual Florida lawsuit, the only thing they mention is social media accounts, and they mention an OnlyFans account. Now, Emma's OnlyFans account, she did topless pictures on there, and she eventually shut that down because she was not interested in OnlyFans. And what she's showing on the screen right now, 666 Fury, that is an image, a mock-up image that was taken directly from her Instagram account. There is no 666 Fury. That is just an image that she put together with the costume that she had. That doesn't exist. She was not a sex worker in this sense. So this is
wow. So y'all see again, these guys are out here putting out false information to make them believe that this girl is something that she actually is not. And just think about it, bro. The amount of rumors that Andrew Tate, a 36-year-old man, was spreading about a now 21-year-old girl. Okay, I mean, this is just crazy. Like, y'all are just pulling out all the stops, okay, to make your mans look good, including victim shaming. Like, listen, when Tate goes to jail and people start to realize that this entire time, people on the right and a bunch of young men platformed a trafficker and joined in on the shaming of the victims that they abused. Right? That's crazy. Y'all are not going to be looked at in the same light again. You want to talk about people, society taking men seriously after this shit, bro? You can just forget that, bro. And that's a sad thing because shit's going to keep getting worse because a lot of people, they're going to spin it as, oh yeah, these guys, yeah. Why would he even want to? You think the left is going to let this go? After he gets prosecuted, they're going to use this, and it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. Like, a lot of y'all are forever tainted with this guy. It's great. Like, when they start spinning this, that you guys basically joined in on victim shaming a woman who didn't accuse 7 men, and you guys doctored information, god damn, bro. It's not looking good.
Starting out really bad. She's gaslighting people into thinking that Emma was this sex worker, when in fact the worst that she actually did was do topless pictures on OnlyFans.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name, and the only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him, Emma was in fact a minor, and that of course is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here.
Pause. So she wants to be ethical here, and she's protecting the man who has been convicted of a sex crime against two different minors.
She's so
because
dumb.
there was a minor involved. However, she has no problem saying what the minor's name is. So she has no problem saying Emma's name, but she's not mentioning the actual name of Keith Fox
throughout this episode.
That's facts. Keith Fox is the 56-year-old or 59-year-old that actually abused her, or I'm sorry, he raped her while she was 15. Okay, that was the whole case. That's the one that went to trial, and he was convicted of it. He went to prison. All right. She's not saying his name. She's protecting the rapist, but she has no problem using Emma's name. Right? Yeah, Emma Gabby. Who's Emma Gabby? Right? But when it comes to this case, it's actually legitimate, and the guy who actually got prosecuted and convicted for it, right? Well, I'm not gonna say his name. Just look at this. This is how conservatives like Candace Owens, so-called Christian conservatives like Candace Owens, protect predators. Yeah, y'all sitting here with your QAnon hats. Yeah, we gotta stop the tunnels that the Clintons have that is trafficking people. Look at Epstein. Bruh, Tate is basically the conservative Epstein. Y'all understand that, right? Like, that's where this is headed. This is crazy, Candace. Like, shame on you for this.
But by the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
Bleeping his name
Keith
out.
Fox
Look at him.
is a 57-year-old man.
Look at this bozo.
Who was convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison for sexually abusing 2 girls under the age of 18.
2 girls. 24 years in prison, Candace. 24 years. Hey, Andrew Tate, you're looking at your future, bro. Listen, I'm guessing 25. I'm thinking he might do 25 years. Some people are saying 30. Some people are saying even more than that. I don't know. Maybe not. Listen, they go make an example of this guy, but I don't think it's gonna be that crazy where he's getting like 40 years in prison, but at least 25 years. You know, his brother might do 15. Actually, his brother I think Tristan might do more, because Tristan is the one that started the CAM organization, right, and brought Tate into it. Okay, and if you guys read the indictment, they're actually going back to 2016, not the lie the Tate brothers are telling you, where they're saying it's not past 2021 or 2022, whatever the hell they're saying. They're going back 2016. That's how I know you tater tots don't do research. Y'all don't read. Y'all don't know nothing. Okay, but 25 or 24 years this guy did for actually doing something to Emma Gabby. Right, and Candace Owens wanted to protect this guy. Candace, you're done, bro.
Emma was a 15-year-old girl. He was a 57-year-old married man who was sexually abusing her. A private investigator captured images of Keith Fox sexually abusing Emma through a window. So he was.
Whoa! I thought he was innocent. I thought she was making it up. I thought, whoa, so you're telling me the PI who got the photo evidence in 4K, you want to tell me that was AI generated, huh, Tater Tots? You want to say that he was falsely accused and sent to prison, right? And what are you doing here, bro? Like, you guys are looking silly as time goes on. This is not looking good.
He was caught red-handed. And if you look this case up, you're going to know that there's absolutely no possible scenario in where she falsely accused this man of anything.
And not expose his name so people can look up the case because, as I said, she was underage at the time.
And they don't want you to know his name because if you look this case up, you're going to see that she clearly did not frame him.
There were
boom. And guys, remember when we reacted to this video and I had to go read that whole report, right? I broke it down. The reason, and I told you, I even stopped right here. I told y'all the reason Candace Owens doesn't want to say this guy's name is because this is evidence of her protecting Andrew Tate, right? Because if you guys were smart enough, at least those are the tater tots that want to do research, right? She's withholding that information from you, because if you had the information, meaning his name, Keith Fox, you would go Google that name, and then you will find that he's got 24 years in prison. He surrendered over $100,000 of his assets. He's done. And you realize, no, none of this was false. You realize there was actually evidence, photo evidence done by a private investigator. You'd realize that this woman right up here is lying to you to protect her friend. Yes, her friend, because Andrew Tate is her friend. They've been friends for a very long time.
were two girls that were involved in that case, just to be clear, and one of the girls admitted flat out to having an outright sexual relationship with him, including sexual intercourse. Now let's talk about Marlon Fisher. Who is he?
So let's talk about Marlon Fisher. He was a 34-year-old man, and he met Emma 1 month after her 16th birthday. And all of the chats that you're going to see here, these chats allegedly come from Marlon illegally accessing her phone and taking all of these chats off of her phone. So this is a child predator, 34 years old, dealing with a woman who is 17 years old, and ignorance is not a defense, remember. She can lie about her age, but in Florida, the responsibility falls on him. And he has a history here. And though the actual case was dismissed, there was another person who took him to court and filed a petition for stalking. So this isn't the first time he's had issues.
So this is a text message that Marlon Fisher is alleging that Emma Gabby sent to people regarding him. Now, to be clear, before I read this text message, I am about to read you a lot of text messages that apparently came from Emma Gabby and other people throughout this episode. As a general disclaimer, these text messages are a part of cases that are pending and have been submitted to the courts. They have signed affidavits swearing that these are true. I independently, of course, have no means to individually authenticate these messages and to say to you that these are...
You have no means to authenticate this? Really? Okay, then why are you even present this as some kind of evidence against Emma Gabby? Like, just be honest. When you're saying you have no way of resources of investigating these things, okay, then why present it? Other than to do a smear campaign to protect your best friend, Andrew Tate, because you guys are best friends. There are a lot of connections that are being uncovered between Candace Owens and Andrew Tate. That's why, like, it's not looking good for her integrity or credibility. I mean, if you ask me, her integrity was shot a long time ago. But I guess the rest of the world is starting to catch up with us. Thank you. Welcome. Have a seat. Get your feet up, all right? Grab some popcorn and enjoy this shit show.
Are definitely real, and I'm holding the phone. So you're going to have to trust the people that are submitting them.
Pause. We have to trust child predators.
Think
That's what
about
she's saying
that
right here. We have to trust that a man who is 34 years old having sexual intercourse with a girl
Be Too Cool was good. Shout out to you, brother. Welcome to the chat. I appreciate you.
Who's 17 years old, which is statutory rape.
Look at this
You
guy.
have to trust this man has given an honest affidavit.
So going back to this text message, the first one reads from Emma Gabby, again, out to all of her friends. I need to open up and tell you all something because I owe it to you, the people I care about. You have each moved me so much in my life that I am able to do it. I have a problem. I am a pathological liar. My life started in Kazakhstan, where I grew up in a loveless orphanage. We were picked up facing away from the caretakers, so we never developed love. I never learned how to hug, smile, kiss, touch, or be close to anybody. I was adopted by incredible people named Mona and Bill, who saved me from a life of abuse. I had a beautiful childhood because of them. When I was 11 or 12, I began to dissociate and resent them. I felt...
So he's breaking down the facility that she was in, right? And apparently it's a very fucked up place where a lot of kids are, facing violence, abuse, and things like that. So this girl, Emma Gabby, she did not come from a good place. And that's another thing, that when y'all dudes out here who follow Andrew Tate, you're portraying yourself to be good dudes. All right. And then you're sitting here shaming a woman who basically is fucked up mentally due to how she was raised. Right. And the fact that you guys aren't even putting that into consideration, but yet expect people to consider your mental well-being and where you're coming from is absolutely ludicrous. It's absolutely just insane that you guys are so unaware of other people and what they're doing, bro. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Y'all realize that, like, I wouldn't say a majority of girls, but I would say a lot of girls that I've encountered, they've been through some kind of abuse in one shape, form of status out there. Okay, it don't matter. It's out there. It's actually a bigger problem that we'd like to acknowledge, right? A lot of people would say, "Oh no, that's just feminist garble." No, it's not. It's a real thing. A lot of women, and maybe y'all in the chat can attest to that. Maybe someone in your life, okay? Maybe it doesn't have to be your friend or your family member, but somebody you guys know somebody, at least one person, one woman that's been through some kind of abuse by the hands of another man. So the fact that a lot of these guys try to play dumb and say it's some, no, we're equal. It's like, dude, come on. All right. Who do women need protection from oftentimes? From men. All right, we got to acknowledge that stuff, okay? So when you guys are not acknowledging the background where she comes from and how she has the mentality to go around doing all those crazy things and lying and all that shit like that, you guys aren't ready for an honest conversation.
Unwanted and like I had no family, so I began to rebel, doing drugs and meeting lots of different people.
This is exactly the type of troubled and vulnerable woman that human traffickers will look for.
Would a butt plug go off through a metal detector? And to give context to that message, the context that was provided by Marlon Fisher, she was asking Marlon Fisher if wearing her butt plug would set off the courthouse metal detector when she needed to go through in order to meet with the district attorney who was prosecuting the person that I just told you about, which is why it's relevant.
Yeah, I don't even understand the point of this. What she's doing is she's shaming a child. She's shaming a troubled child for having these, sexual kinks. And that has nothing to do with the fact that she was allegedly trafficked to Romania. None of this has anything to do with that other than they're just trying to shame her.
Again, this is being told by Marlon Fisher, so I can only say allegedly. These are her actual text messages.
Allegedly.
Now, Marlon Fisher began to suspect that she was lying about her age. Now, remember, is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here.
Wow! You see how she's framing it? Oh, Keith Fox, he's serving a prison sentence right now. His life has pretty much been destroyed. Yeah, because he raped a 15-year-old girl. Of course, it's like, whoa, Candace, what the fuck? Whoa, hey, yo, I gotta play that back.
Lying about her age. Now, remember, is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here.
Yeah, as it should be. He's a rapist, dude. Like, what are we doing? He raped 2 underage girls. Are you high? Of course. What? All of a sudden, we're good with guys like this in society now? Like these guys have it. Like we should care about this. Like, of course, his life gets destroyed. You do the crime, you do the time, and you face the consequences, right? You guys are the party of the accountability. Why are we always saying his life is destroyed, as it should be? What is this, bro? This is crazy.
But the pattern of behavior, again, this is coming from Marlon Fisher, that was used on him represents the same pattern of behavior that she used against her other victims.
Okay, so pause it right here, because Jail John, who is Keith Fox, he was caught on film and he was convicted. There is no scenario here where she misled him. Ignorance is not a defense. That's why he was convicted and why he was actually sent to prison, because in Florida, that doesn't matter. She lied about her age. So what? It was your responsibility. That's why they convicted him and actually sent him to prison. Additionally, if Fisher once finds that, if he starts questioning her age, that's where you sever the relationship. You don't continue a relationship with someone when you start to suspect that they might be a minor.
I said this in my reaction chat because this Marlon Fisher guy was sus to me, right? He's sitting there trying to talk about, oh, well, you promised me you were going to tell your real age. I'm like, dude, why are you still messaging her? The moment you found out she was underage, you cut ties, bro. You don't say nothing. You leave. You drop the scenario, move on with your fucking life, okay? Maybe you report it to the proper authorities, all right? But at the bottom line, stop dialogue. The fact that this Marlon Fisher guy, who's now filing this criminal complaint, kept up conversations with a known underage girl, okay? Again, like MilkBar saving or Murder by Crayons, right? They're saying ignorance is not an excuse of the law, all right? It's not an excuse of not knowing that the law is against that shit. So you knew. Like, this is crazy, bro. This Keith Fox is a freaking, not Keith Fox, what is his name? Marlon Fisher is a bozo.
Gone, you bounce. The fact that he's hanging around is suspect.
I believe that was induced into an illicit sexual relationship with a minor under false pretenses. According to Marlon Fisher, performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse.
Yeah, he's the victim. He's the victim here, the 57-year-old married man who is urinating on a 15-year-old child.
That's what Marlon Fisher is saying about Keith Fox, right? Marlon Fisher, to use evidence against Emma Gabby, he's using her convicted rapist. Think about that. Let that sink in. All right, we got a bunch of old dudes in their 30s, mid-30s above, all right, who are using each other to go ahead and prosecute of Emma Gabby. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, wow. Skyman 2204. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, this isn't shaming. This is character assassination. Facts. That's exactly what Candace is doing. And she's really good at doing this. She's really good at making you look like the bad guy. And that's what she's trying to do to Emma Gabby, to go ahead and twist public opinion, right? Because again, this is to not only make herself, or at least justify to herself, why she gave a light interview to Andrew Tate, but to also kind of give it to the audience who are pretty much criticizing her for giving such a light interview, that saying, hey, listen, look at the accuser. Okay, the accuser has a history of accusing other men, so you guys need to be patient, and you guys need to disregard all the evidence you've seen out there or dropped by prosecutors, and just know that Andrew Tate, there's a potential for him to be innocent, because look, we have one case in Florida that you know, this girl, she just lies. She lies on men, right? Bro, it's getting weird. It's getting real weird, bro. Like, pretty soon, the conservative movement is gonna get that. It's gonna get to that point, all right. But right now, it's just the manosphere and red pill. But then the conservative movement, y'all are gonna guard. You guys are gonna start getting smeared as a bunch of trafficking supporters, right? Because again, how people are gonna say, how dare you come after someone like Hillary Clinton, Alex Jones? You got sued for $1 billion, Alex Jones. Okay, and you're still supporting a guy who's clearly guilty of trafficking, and you have the balls to come out here and say he's innocent and God is on his side. Really, Alex Jones? Really, bruh? Okay, y'all, after this, y'all cannot look at Hillary Clinton and the whole Pizzagate and the whole whatever the hell. Y'all can't talk anymore. Okay, the fact that you chose clout to back Andrew Tate, right, over your own principles, you're done. There's no credibility left.
Is the victim, just for context.
Well, it ends with Emma Gabby filing documents against Marlon Fisher. On September 16th, 2019, she walked into Palm Beach County Courthouse and filed a temporary injunction for protection against domestic abuse against Marlon Fisher under what he claims are false pretenses.
So what we have here is the second situation where Emma has accused someone formally. The first one was Keith Fox, and I believe it was her mother that started that in motion, but he was convicted. He was convicted. He did it to another girl. He was caught on film. He was convicted. There's no question that was not false. Now we have the second person here who she did go to the police and file some sort of an accusation. Notice it was not kidnapping and it was not human trafficking, as the Tates love to claim. So we have one that was actually convicted, so that's not false. And we have a second one, which has nothing to do with human trafficking or kidnapping.
She filed the
boom. Again, shout out to, I think this is Murdered by Crayons, right? But shout out to both Murdered by Crayons and MilkBarTV, okay? Because everyone's saying she has a history of false accusations. She has a history of false accusations and accusing men. One of the guys were actually convicted, and he was convicted because there was evidence. The evidence the private investigator provided with actual photos of these girls caught in this guy's house. He's convicted. So it's not false. It's true. All right. And then Marlene Fisher, you have a formal accusation, meaning this isn't like about, molesting or anything like that. This is just an accusation that was formally filed. And there's a record of it. Right. So we got one convicted and one formal accusation. Let's continue.
Restraining order under oath in Florida State Court, where she accused Marlon Fisher of severely abusing her. Marlon Fisher, distraught, did not know what to do. Now, just as a reminder, they've engaged in BDSM, according to him.
Right. This is all according to Tate's and according to the man who was raping her, essentially.
She wants to engage in BDSM, and so now she is claiming that she has been abused. So you can imagine this obviously presents some suffering.
Pause. You've been having sex with a minor, and now you found out that you're having sex with a minor. You continue to have communication with the minor, and now the minor actually goes to the police and
boom. Again, Mr. Fisher. All right. Why are you still talking to her after you found out she was underage? the chat. Remember when we were reacting to this video? And when I brought up Mr. Fisher, because we read this whole thing, right? Because the tater tots, they don't do any research, okay? You got common sense, you ain't got shit. Y'all look dumb. All right. When we talked about the one thing that stood out to us was, why is this guy who's 35, who now found out that the girl he's seeing is underage, why is he still talking to her? Like, what? Do you have feelings for her or what? Like, you're weird, bro. And now you're surprised that because you kept up communications with this minor, all right, you got accused. Why you mad? Now all of a sudden, this 36-year-old, oh, I got tricked and look at all the heartache it caused me. What? Like, bro, the moment you found out, peace, you're gone. Jeez, these guys are just gross, bro.
Some accusations against you. Oh yeah, of course you're going to suffer. You know, that's statutory rape. You know, I'm surprised Chris Henson didn't walk in and tell him to have a seat. Why don't you have a seat right over there?
The next case, and I want to be clear here, I have seen people online circulating saying that this woman, that Emma Gabby, caused a man to commit suicide.
And you know what's funny? Even Candace Owens admit that, because it's true. There's a bunch of tater tots right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tate's media bots, right, are promoting this false narrative. But they're saying that Emma Gabby caused this guy to kill himself. That's defamation. Like, you guys are defaming a victim. Like, you're shaming her, and there's no evidence. Even Candace Owens, I mean, you got to give her some credit, even though she's trying to walk that line so her and her organization doesn't get sued, because she can easily get sued for all this bullshit if she stated as fact, right? That's why she's playing this middle line. But a bunch of these guys have been spreading fake rumors that Emma Gabby is the cause of this guy killing himself. There's no proof. All right, there's no proof. You look at the courts and things like that. There's no evidence, right? The only evidence they had, and we covered this, right? The only evidence they had was, I think, the family member, one of the family members, believing that, you know, she may have had some kind of connection to it, right? But that's hearsay. There's no proof. There's no facts, right? Some of y'all who are tater tots are asking for facts and evidence, but in this case, the courts looked at it and said, no, there's no, there's no proof that she killed this guy. That's utterly false. But here comes Andrew Tate, his media team, and a bunch of his tater tot army coming out here and spreading this false accusation against a 21-year-old woman. It's basically one 21-year-old woman against millions of men out there and conservatives. Imagine that. Just imagine that, bro. If you were a mother and that was your daughter, imagine that, like a bunch of dudes out here just spreading false shit because some guy invited your daughter over to Romania and the police force busted in and grabbed her out of there. Think about that, chat. It's crazy.
I want to say that is something that is an allegation that I would not stand by.
So Candace says she wouldn't stand by this, but then she continues to go into it. She obviously wants to plant that seed to make you think, well, maybe she was involved. So Dustin Milner was a 35-year-old depressed man who was having sex with a 17-year-old girl, which was Emma. He also has a criminal history. He got a felony for unauthorized possession of an identification card. So it looks like at one time he also had a fake ID. So 35 years old with a 17-year-old. Now, according to the Florida lawsuit, there's no actual evidence that says that she's involved. They're basing it on the brother believing, his thought is that she may have been involved. And I can understand where he might be coming from, where he's trying to make sense of the suicide and he wants to put the blame somewhere. So
that's facts, because you know, as someone who was a family member, you just lost your brother, right? And he just got done seeing this girl who probably didn't come from the best of backgrounds. Yeah, you're gonna need or try to find someone to blame for that, right? Because it's natural. It's a human behavior. You want to blame something or figure out what caused this, right? But at the end of the day, it's just hearsay. He doesn't have any proof. He just has a hunch that's not backed by anything. Okay, and come to think of it, this Milner guy, Jason Milner guy, okay, he already had a history of problems. Okay, and that's the thing. I've had friends in high school that all of a sudden we see a post on Facebook talking about RIP because they committed suicide, and it's like, whoa, it's actually shocking because when you look at the individual and think about your last interaction with the individual, right? You're thinking, well, these guys look, I thought they were fine. I thought they were okay, right? And I had no idea they were actually struggling with some crazy shit, right? And that's the crazy thing. None of us knows. Like even with celebrities, like with Mac Miller, right, and some of these other celebrities out there, where you think, oh, you know, we thought you were good. We had no idea. Now you committed suicide. This is crazy. Right? So that's the thing. You never know what people are going through until it's too late. And that's the case for Jason Milner. What's atrocious is the fact that a bunch of you tater tots who frankly don't give a fuck about Jason Miller or Milner and his situation, but the fact that your top G, okay, is being accused by a girl who was last seen with this guy before he committed suicide, and you're using that as an excuse to blame her for this dude's death, you're sick. You're a sick individual. It doesn't make any freaking sense for you guys to be doing that, right? Because you don't, first of all, y'all don't give a shit about Jason Milner. And you know what's crazy? You see some RIP posts by some of these tater tots talking about rest in peace, Jason Miller. Let's have a moment of silence for this guy that this Emma Gabby chick destroyed so bad. Like you guys are almost to the point where you're trying to deify this guy, but you don't give a fuck about Jason. None of you guys do. It's just that Jason is like a pseudo martyr because he's painted as a guy who killed himself by dealing with a girl who's now accusing your top G. That's disgusting, bruh. Realistically. And it just proves that y'all don't research, facts, evidence. You just throw all of that shit out the window. Like, the more we get further into this, the more things that are being uncovered about this whole scenario with the Tates, the more disgusting a lot of you tater thoughts are starting to look. And it's not looking pretty.
Obviously, he's going to place it with her, but there's no actual evidence that she was involved.
So there is no evidence here that could back this up. She didn't tell him to kill himself.
Okay, so she just said it. There's no evidence to back this up. Candace said that herself. And it's also important to understand there was no accusation here. She did not accuse him of trafficking, of kidnapping, or any particular crime. He unfortunately committed suicide, and there's no evidence to actually back that up.
Tater tots, that guy that committed suicide was never accused by this lady. He was never accused by her. So the fact that you guys are spreading rumors, oh, she accused him, he killed himself because of that. There's 7 other guys. This is sick. Like, you guys need serious help, bro. You guys are going after a woman who literally has certain grievances against certain men, right? And it's true. It's there. Some of them are bad. But the fact that y'all are making up shit just to shit on her reputation and character, this is crazy, bro. But hey, he died and she didn't accuse him. What other proof do you guys have?
And so I just want to make it clear that in digging into this, I didn't feel comfortable suggesting that she made him commit suicide.
But you talked about it anyway.
Moving on to a young man named Tyler Hensel.
Okay, so Tyler Hensel, the young man who was 35 years old, and you can see that at the bottom of the screen there. She highlights something in yellow, but if you go down and look, you can see that Tyler was 35 years old and Emma was 17 years old. Now, Tyler alleges that he thought she was 26 years old, but again, ignorance is not a defense. The responsibility falls on him. 35-year-old with a 17-year-old.
Indicating to Hensel, like to Martin Fisher before him, that she was into BDSM and insisted on calling him daddy in the bedroom. At one point, when the two of them were alone, Gabby even jumped on top of Tyler Hensel, initiating sexual contact. Hensel, who was not into this kind of degrading behavior, often rejected her demands for more aggressive sexual conduct.
But he still had sex with her, and there's no way, looking at her picture, are you going to think that she is 26 years old back when she's 17 years old? That's not going to happen. And I hate the fact that she keeps shaming her for her sexual kinks. That's not a crime. If you want to talk about sexual kinks, the Tate brothers are both on the record for choking women until they pass out.
Which Candace Owens conveniently ignored.
Now, again, this person, she never ends up filing anything against.
Okay, pause. So there were no accusations made against Tyler Hensel. So now we have 2 of the men where there were no accusations made. One of the men was actually convicted. So we have 1 man where accusations were made, and it was not about human trafficking or kidnapping. So we have 1 man where she's made an accusation against. And
damn, bruh. Even just looking at the roster, hey, Tater Tots, it's not making your claim look good about Emma Gabby. Y'all trying to make her seem like some mass accuser that falsely accused a bunch of guys. This is not looking good. So far, we have one formal accusation, and that's not even about trafficking. Second of all, we have two other no accusations, and one accusation that was actually convicted, which means it was true. So far, it's not looking good for your theories, guys. This is crazy, especially when you visualize it like this. It's not looking good, especially all the crap y'all have been talking. Yo, this is kind of getting bad, bruh.
And technically speaking, he was 34, she was 17. That is statutory rape. So she would have been within her rights to actually make that complaint.
Then we have the defamation of Joel Friedman, that she defamed a man named Joel Friedman. And this is an actual text message. How do we know about this defamation against Joel Friedman?
All right. So Joel Friedman is a 39-year-old man. Again, Emma was 17 years old. And how did you learn about the defamation? Surprise, through Fisher, the child predator. And also Friedman had a history of drug abuse.
Damn.
He's actually been brought up on charges for drug abuse. One of the charges was possession of cocaine.
Damn. Yeah, bro. Yeah, dog. Yeah, this dude on something, bro. Hey, nah. Yeah. Yeah, dog. Nah, dog. Yo, come on, cocaine in 2015. Come on, dog.
Exchange between Marlon and
Candace. Why didn't you do that? Hey, why didn't you provide context, Candace? Why don't we know about this guy? Can you tell us that he had a cocaine addiction? Can you tell us that he was busted for it? Because cocaine is serious, bro.
Gabby writes, "Can I message Joel to tell him that I have a boyfriend?" Marlon Fisher says, "As you clearly understand, nobody cares that you have a boyfriend, but if you'd like to tell him that he raped you, by all means." Emma says, "I'd like to not put our relationship at risk. I'll gladly tell him when I'm 18 and anybody else that happened with." So sweet you are. You're breaking up with me because I don't want to tell Joel that he raped me. One, I don't know if he would tell other people that I'm underage.
I'm underage and Fisher is still with her. And she doesn't want to ruin the relationship with Fisher. He knows she's underage right here.
I told you it was sus, chat. I told you it was sus. The moment you found out she's underage, stop talking to her. It gets weird, bro. Because at that point, I'm gonna have to look at you as a weirdo. I mean, like, what the hell are we doing here, bro? Like, she's just told you she's underage. Chat. All right, if the significant other you were dealing with, all of a sudden you found out they were underage, put a 1 in the chat if you're gonna quit all communications right then and there and just report that account to the proper authorities, or put a 2 if you're gonna be like Keith over here or Kenneth and you're gonna keep conversations with someone after you've known they're underage. Because this Kenneth guy, or this guy who they're using as some kind of proof that Emma Gabby is such a bad person, he seems culpable to me. He seems like he knows exactly what he's doing, bro. He wants this young woman. He wants her. That's crazy.
How can you say she set you up? You know she's underage, and you're continuing with this relationship. I'm surprised Candace is actually reading this.
Yeah, me too. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Marlon Fisher ended up actually confronting Friedman. You imagine your girlfriend tells you that she was raped by some other man.
Pause. Your underage girlfriend tells you that she was raped by another man. Your underage girlfriend, when you were 34 years old, tells you that she was raped by another 39-year-old man.
That's a bad scenario to be in, bro. That means not only are you busted for dealing with an underage individual, but then now you're dealing with an underage individual. Now you're finding out she has a history of being abused by older men, and you're still in communications with her. Like, this is gonna end well for you? Are you high? Like, this is crazy to me. And you tater tots are just sitting here taking the sides of rapists, child molesters. Just keep that in mind. Okay, this is weird, bro. Honestly, chat, this is kind of weird.
What is going on here? How is she saying this with a straight face?
Well, eventually Marlon Fisher confronts Friedman over the rape allegation. Friedman, purports to be an innocent man, of course, denied those allegations. Friedman stated that they had a dating type relationship, but were never intimate and shared the passion of music together.
We're supposed to believe an underage girl is so sexually charged that she's into all of this crazy stuff and wanted to put butt plugs in and walk through court and get choked and all this BDSM. But with this one guy, there's no sexual relation whatsoever. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that.
So that's really interesting. You see a person who has a pattern, these men that are coming out and making statements via an affidavit about their relationship with her, about how she lied, about how she manipulated. But this pattern of speaking to one man about the last man and claiming that she's in a compromising situation is what these men are saying.
Pause. Yeah, we need to go back on this because Candace has talked about 5 men here. And let's kind of put this in context with the Tate saying that she's accused 7 men of kidnapping or human trafficking.
There's going to be another conversation as to whether women can go around and accuse 7, 8, 9, 10 people of kidnapping on repeat whenever they don't.
Yo, he's spreading false rumors. She accused 7, 8, 9, 10 men. Look how he's just talking about her. Look at this. My false accuser has accused 7 men on kidnapping her previously. That's not true. These grown-ass men are spreading these rumors about a victim they raped. Let that sink in. This is gross, bro. I'm like, yo, like the further we get to the trial, or not further, the closer we get to the trial, the worse this looks for a lot of you guys who've been backing this guy.
This all began with a girl accusing us of kidnapping her. A girl we have the CCTV to prove was never kidnapped. Isn't it interesting that she's accused 7 other men of kidnapping her in her life?
And so Keith Fox, he was convicted. There's no question. There was no false accusation there. Dustin Milner, there was no accusation. Tyler Hensel, there was no accusation. Marlon Fisher, there was an accusation, but to be fair, he would fall under statutory rape. He was 34, she was 17. And Joel Friedman, there was no formal accusation. It was Marlon Fisher who claims Emma told him that Joel raped her, but that's not a formal accusation. So at best, we have 2 accusations, and one of them was not formal. So I don't know where this whole she accused 7 men. That's simply
Andrew Tate just blatantly lying to a lot of you tater tots, and you're falling for a hook, line, sink. This is insane. This is really bad, right? Because he is at you. You see him. We called him a 4K. He's spreading those rumors. Oh, she's accused 7 other men. She's accused 7 other men. 7 other men of trafficking and kidnapping. No, that's not true. There was 1 convicted accusation, so that's not false. There was 1 informal one. All right, not informal. What do you call it? It was a formal accusation, but that had nothing to do with trafficking or kidnapping. Okay, that was just the guy kept talking to the girl after he found out she was underage. Okay, and then the rest of them. Wait, there was only 5. Where's the 7? There are 2 other guys missing. Oh, that's right. Because you guys love propaganda and you don't like doing any fact checking whatsoever. That's what we're getting to right now. All right. So the fact that you guys are sitting here talking about you're the party of facts and evidence and this and that, and it's bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. You guys, it's proven that tater tots, they don't read, they don't study. Matter of fact, I'm starting to realize that tater tots are, if you want to brainwash a bunch of people and make a fuck ton of money off of them, start pretending to be a top G. Pretend to be a top G. You can easily fool these guys because they work off of emotion, not logic. They like to delude themselves to believe that they work off of logic. But if you're looking at everything as clear as day, they don't work off of logic. I don't even think these guys know what logic means. Okay, the logic. What is that? A keyboard? What is the logic? I don't know. I can't find it. That's what it is, bro. Y'all are just emotional because how can y'all have all of this stuff out there? You telling me you don't want to read? See, again, this is why these are the kind of people they would be perfect for falling victims to conspiracy theories, right? Because all you have to do is just give them some vague ass bullshit, all right, and then wrap it in some little nugget of truth, and they'll buy a hook, line, sinker. That's what these guys are, bro. This is Jesus Christ. Wow. RT the Brand says they're literally proving that she made false allegations. How? RT, how did they prove that she made false allegations? Can you explain that, RT? Because you sound like a tater tot, bro. Can you explain how these guys literally prove she made false accusations? Because one of them, the guy was convicted. The other one was a formal accusation. A formal accusation meaning that, yeah, there's proof this guy was talking to a minor. That's still against the law. You can't talk to minors, and he's kept the conversation going, right? So that's proof that in there. And the rest of them, there were no accusations made by the woman. So what was false? Oh, that the guy was talking to a minor, because that wasn't false. She told him she was underage. He still kept talking to her. So RT, explain this bullshit, bro, because you sound like you're emotional. That's what you sound like right now. You sound like you don't want to believe the truth. She didn't make false accusations. There weren't any false accusations. At best, the one thing I will give you is she lied about her age, at best. But that is completely different to what Andrew Tate is accusing her of being, meaning falsely accusing 7 different guys of kidnapping and trafficking, because that is not true. Again, this RT is being an example of how the guys who are brainwashed by the Tateism, all right, these guys, they don't like facts and evidence. They don't like truth. They don't like any of that. To them, it's all about emotional vibes, right? They're exactly like the feminist people they hate or they like to rail against, because you're proving that. You're proving you got no brains, dog. Like, to be honest with you, I'm just gonna be real. Like, I fuck with you, RT, because you've been around for a minute, but I gotta be real with you, because I got friends who I'm real with. I let them know when they're being bozos, okay? So I'm gonna let you know this right now, because you're part of the Dukendon family. You're being a bozo. Wake up. Go read. Go actually read, bro, because you're striking me as someone who doesn't want to do the research. You actually watch videos to get by. Matter of fact, I would encourage you, get off this right now. Don't watch this. Go actually pull up the indictment. If you want links, I'm gonna put them in the description. Go read it, all right? And we'll go read the catalogs of videos, not videos, what do you call it? The transcripts that are out there. Go watch the what do you call it? The videos of Andrew Tate himself telling you what he's done, and then come back. Because it sounds like you haven't done that. You just go get spoon-fed by a bunch of Tate bot channels, and then you come here spewing these bot takes. All right, we're not bots over here. Like, Billy, what the hell is this? Like, what the fuck is this shit? M Don, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. M Don says we should start calling Tate male groupies and stands tater tots instead of tater tots. Hey, bro, listen, as long as it goes viral, I want tater tots to go viral. I want more people calling these guys tater tots, because they're a bunch of brainwashed potatoes. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. It's just fifis all around. That's what it is. It's fifis all around. And when you bring facts into it, they don't want to hear it. So I'm sorry, but yeah, tater thoughts, maybe. You can call them tater thoughts, but either way, these guys are brainwashed to high hell, bro. Shout out to you for the super chat. Be Too Cool with the $10 super chat. Be Too Cool says, yo, what's up, Brody? What's up to you, bro? Had to tip the roast jar in you keeping your foot on Candace's neck 100%, and also to wish her career continues to plummet since she's a part of Andrew Tate's false matrix. Facts. She's part of that empire that promotes false false information. That's Candace Owens. You can't deny that, right? Like, even at this point, you'd be a fool to keep lying at this point and thinking that Candace Owens isn't part of this whole cabal. She is. She is, most definitely. She knows what she's doing, right? And it's just kind of sad to see this unfold, right? Where a lot of people who are claiming to be against the Matrix don't realize they're falling for another Matrix. It's like, wake up and smell the mustard. Y'all are just voting blocks. But that's not what we got just yet, all right? Because I tell you, the conservative movement, all right, they're getting on roasting Candace, all right? But not just conservatives, all right? There are other media personalities that are calling out the hypocrisy of Candace Owens. Matter of fact, people who aren't even politically aligned right now are just basically calling out the hypocrisy of Candace Owens. That's what they're saying. They're saying, yeah, this woman, we see how you're talking about Maya Khalifa. We see how you're talking about, what do you call it, Cardi B. We see how you talk about Meg Thee Stallion, Candace, and how these women are promoting degeneracy to society. But yet you sat down with a trafficker. So when you look at the evidence that's already out there, not even the one that the prosecutors have, what's out there right now, when you look at it, it tells you he's guilty, right? When Candace Owens, you interview Tate and you don't bring up critical points, all right, but yet you go around dissing these women, it makes you a hypocrite, okay? And this video was absolutely perfect, guys, and there's so much more, but let's go ahead and react to it because I found it so hilarious.
One of those people who have recently jumped to the defense of Andrew Tate, who is charged with human trafficking, rape, and organized crime. Although so many people on the right, among conservatives, woke up and saw that Andrew Tate is not the good guy, Candace Owens is still very supportive of him and defends him and thinks he's an inspiration for young men.
You're speaking to young men about why it is okay to be a man, giving them permission to be a man in a capacity that I can't give them that permission.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money.
Part of me when they were regurgitating this, I was like, this is so unfair. It's so unfair.
And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just pure, just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, their titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it.
By and large, the stuff that you're saying to young men, even if there are certain things I don't agree with.
Are you banging the chicks too, or was it just
all of it? So
I think you're right. Now that you say it, I'm just a woman and I don't understand it.
yeah. Women are only loyal to one thing, and that's the dick they're sucking.
But
This was, I like how this guy did it too. I like how he did it because, like, here's the thing. The funny thing is, Andrew Tate, hold up. Let me get B2 Cool. B2 Cool, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, committed gold whenever you randomly call out crap on your chat. Yeah, bro, I can't let y'all get away with bullshit. Booted from my own studio. That's crazy. But what was I saying? Well, like, listen, I'm the kind of person that calls people out, right? I'm the kind of person that, like, I don't like echo chambers. I hate that shit. Okay, I'd expect y'all to call me out. In fact, you guys have called me out multiple times, all right? But the thing is, I don't want y'all to, because checking y'all is essentially checking myself, because I need to make sure that I don't have a bunch of brainwashed people that are out here believing crazy nonsense, and I got a bunch of people who are factual that can educate me, right? So listen, I gotta let y'all know if RT, because RT's been around, RT's cool, right? I don't have no problems with RT, right? The thing is, when I see you saying something, especially so ridiculous that it's obviously cope, you got to get corrected. He basically just sat there and said, all Milk Bar video did was prove that she made false accusations. It's like, did you just watch the same video that we watched? She didn't. There was none of those accusations that were false. Matter of fact, only 2 of them were you can consider accusations. One was a formal accusation. The other one was an actual conviction where the guy's spending 24 years in prison. So that's not even false. Okay, we got one actual allegation that was filed and one that was not false, that was actually led to a conviction. Okay, so what happened to the other 5? Then you look at the other ones that were out there, it was only 5 total men. The other 3 men out of those 2, there were no actual accusations. All right. And then we don't know where the 2 other guys went, if there were actually 2 other guys. So what RT is doing right now, and he doesn't realize it, he's basically taking Tate's word as gospel and comparing it to a video that actually did facts and research and saying that the facts and research is false. And I don't like that, because I'm seeing somebody actively deny evidence when it's shown to their face over taking a top G's word for it. Let that sink in. He's the quintessential example of how a lot of tater tots think. And the thing is, you got to get checked for that shit, bro. It's a weird thing to see that happen. It's like, dude just broke everything down. You clearly didn't do your research, RT. Why are you? What leg do you stand on to say he's lying? You're crazy, bro. Like, I don't like that. When you see facts and you willfully deny it, yeah, that don't work around here, bro. Especially if I spend time researching shit too. Like, that just is awful. Like, y'all just look at all that facts and just dismiss it. It's like, okay, you're dismissing it for someone who just says, trust me, bro. Trust me. Like, it's so dumb. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear that shit. Shout out to you, B2 Cool. You know I had to get it. I got to get it. Andre Wilson, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. He says, the tater tots are mad today. I know. They hate it when I do these tape videos because, you know what? What I'm starting to realize is a lot of these guys are slowly coming to the realization that he might actually go to prison, right? And I think that's why I'm not actually going to stop doing these videos. I'm going to keep doing videos because I think the more I do these videos, the more a lot of these tater tots, they're starting to see the light. Even though it's hard for them to come through it and they'll fight you every step of the way, the fact that I see them fighting me on these things means that a lot of them it's starting to make sense. If not, they wouldn't be here, right? If they wouldn't be here if it didn't make any sense, right? But it's slowly starting to make sense to them, and they're slowly starting to realize that they're the ones who are actually stuck in the matrix. But here's what I want to point out, right? Because Andrew Tate likes to say that these videos, what did the Romanian evidence pull after all these months of house arrest and investigating my life, right? A couple of videos. Those videos were over 10 years ago. What I absolutely love about this video right here, every little clip of him basically talking about he was famoosing men. He doesn't feel guilty about famoosing men, how he started up his OnlyFans business and all that. It's all dated and timestamped. This wasn't last I checked, unless y'all are dummies, 2022 wasn't 10 years ago. That was last year. This video was last year. Last year, he said he didn't give a fuck about screwing you all over. Yet you all are taking Tate's word. Trust me, bro. Yeah, those videos are old than 10 years ago. You guys are delusional. You're delusional. This was last year.
All of it.
By and large, the stuff that you're saying to young men, even if there are certain things they don't agree with.
Are you banging the chicks too, or was it just
2021? That was 2 years ago. Unless you tater tots are bozos, 2021 wasn't 10 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. It was 3 years ago. This is all recent. When you talk about history, this is very, very recent. Like, this is almost like, damn. Because I think a lot of y'all forget, Andrew Tate blew up really fast. He had a slow burn, and then all of a sudden, it just took off. This was 2 years ago, 2021. Yet y'all are taking trust me, bro. It was 10 years ago. They're trying to prosecute me off of tapes that was 10 years ago. If you don't believe for 1 second, you tater bots out there, that the prosecutors are not going to use this video as evidence, sitting next to this other loser over here who is known for paying for prostitution. He goes to South America and does this crap, right? And then he has a bunch of videos out there bragging about how it's okay to have sex with what do you call it? Women with penises, okay? And he actually talks about that, and how he talks about how that's preferred, right? Or how it's so what, right? Yeah, why not? But here he is, the same guy that doesn't mind doing stuff like that, is on a platform interviewing a guy who basically does all that stuff. I mean, I'm not saying he does it, but he stands against that stuff, right? It shows you that the ideology, like, unless there's clout to be had, these guys don't give a fuck. We got a guy that bangs trannies, right? Who is against the guy who's interviewing a guy who basically talks shit about them, right? Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
All of it. So
I think you're right. Now that you say it, I'm just a woman and I don't understand it.
yeah. Women are only loyal to one thing, and that's the dick they're sucking.
But I will not apologize for trying to do the best I could at the time in the scenario I was in.
Growing up.
Have a
Did you feel bad or no?
Fuck no. Give a solitary fuck.
I'm just not so quick to judge people.
I think one of the best jobs a woman can have is be a cam girl. I have 19-year-old girls. They're sitting there with their tits out on a computer.
You've captivated.
This was 2020 to 2022. This is all recent history. At best, 3 years ago. Wow.
Let's be a cam girl. I have 19-year-old girls. They're sitting there with their tits out on a computer.
You've captivated young men, and that is a very important demographic.
If you were to start lying and saying I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women.
Whoa! Is that a slip? Was that a slip up, banging all these 15-year-olds? What? You talking about Vivian, huh? And it was funny. You're sitting there with the president of the manosphere right there. Right there. You had that slip up and no checkup. Hey, listen, Mr. President, shout out to you, Mr. President. I would start deleting whatever evidence you have with this guy, because I predict in the future, this is not going to look too good for your credibility, my guy. Listen, yeah, Mr. President, sir, this is not going to look too good. Like, the fact that this is already clipped up and you're already a part of this, it's not looking too good, because it just means that all of y'all did not do your due diligence while sitting here parading about family values and all these conservative values and things like that, right? The guy you guys are platforming is a guy not only doesn't believe in any of that, but actively traffics women, underage women. And he slipped up about a 15-year-old. Jesus Christ, bro. Oh, no.
Lying and saying I'm fucking all these
16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever.
The problem is that Candace
He went from
Owens
15 to
recently
16.
released a video about former porn star Mia Khalifa, in which she says the following words.
This is your life. Do you want to be stuck with someone?
She's a free woman. That's how we speak now, right? Mia Khalifa may not be doing hardcore pornography anymore, but she is certainly doing pornography. It's just softcore. Under boob, she's half naked in all the photos. She's got emojis covering her nipples. She's also encouraging people to follow her on OnlyFans if they want to see even naughtier pictures. You can subscribe to Mia Khalifa. Why does she think that women want to hear her advice? Who does she think she is? I'm just not so quick to judge people. The girl I looked like is talking like, well, a porn star. I'm just not so quick to judge people. No woman anywhere who aspires to happiness should listen to Mia Khalifa.
I'm just not so quick to judge people.
Now, I don't know how to make it more obvious here. I want to preface this by pointing out one thing. In this video, it doesn't matter what I think about Mia Khalifa and her actions. It doesn't matter what I think about Andrew Tate and his actions. It also doesn't matter what you think about these things. What matters here is what Candace Owens thinks and how she judges, because this is about the hypocrisy, the double standards that Candace Owens applies very blatantly.
Facts.
What did Andrew Tate do? What do we know about him? Andrew Tate acted in porn videos in the past. Yes, he did. He did some form of online modeling. There are pictures of him where he's naked. But what's even worse is that Andrew Tate became rich and relevant with an online webcam business where he turned his girlfriends into online webcam girls.
So yeah, on CobraTape.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm.
Fucking tweet, bro. Every time I see that, it's like, yo, you're a dweeb, dog.
Clever.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them.
A business which still continued until very recent years.
I'm going to keep like 5 or 6 of my main girls because they really know what to do. They don't really have.
This is 2021, Chad. Like, you guys were saying, who are believing Tate's Trust Me, bro. It was all 10 years ago. They're trying to use old videos to come at me. This was literally 2 years ago, my boy. Like, this is this guy brags about banging over 1,500 women. John Anthony lawsuit. You're doing an interview with this guy. And one thing I want you guys to pay attention to. Notice that, again, Tate had his only recent blow up was like he had a fast blow up, right? Because I think it was Fresh and Fit's platform that was responsible for a lot of that, right? But before that, you notice how Andrew Tate made his rounds in the red pill before Fresh and Fit's platform shotgun him out there. So you could tell he had an agenda to fake it till you make it, using the red pill to get there. So I'm just hoping you guys understand that you're watching him grift. Because he did this with what do you call it? What is his name? The president, Anthony Johnson, right? He's been on podcasts with all these other guys. When was the last time you've seen Anthony Johnson and Andrew Tate collab? See, the moment Andrew Tate got that superstardom, that slingshot that he really needed, all y'all went by the wayside. So you guys, if you're denying that Andrew Tate is a grifter, this is proof. The fact that they have these old videos, and a lot of the old videos you can see this guy bragging about was on red pill channels. You're no different from Pearl, dog. Let's just be real. You're no different from Pearl. You ran the circuit, and then you shot up to the moon. And now you're denying the red pill, which I find is so funny. I find it so hilarious, bro. Muad'Dib, shout out to you for the final super chat. Muad'Dib says, okay, I'm taking the point of this show being less creepy than the sneaky link grandma. The dating coach Anthony banging trans women is way worse. Yeah, it's way worse. I'll show y'all a video because it was a crazy video. He's just sitting there talking about, it's okay. I've slept with a couple of them once or twice. I'm like, okay, then why do y'all shame them in this space? See, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all, chat. A lot of these dudes who are like hardcore anti-LGBTQ, like, I think they wear wigs at home, bro. I'm not lying to you, dude. These dudes, they have alternative lifestyles. Think about it. Jack Murphy. Jack Murphy was on that conservative grip. He was a red pillar, right? He was seen in photographs with Rollo Tomasi. He's a bona fide red pillar. And guess what? 69 for 69. Turn to find out he likes to take shit up the butt for money. I shit you not, bro. This masculine red pill man who's got the beard and he's going to teach you about masculinity. Come to find out he likes stuff shoved up his butt by his girlfriend. Like, y'all are weird, bro. Like, listen. My only thing is, if y'all leave these lifestyles, all right, stop judging other people. That's all I'm saying. Because when we start looking at your closets, it doesn't look good, y'all. It just seems like y'all are hiding. Stop hiding and hating, bro, and just be free, right? Maybe that's why y'all try to restrict people, because you're scared of truly being free, huh? It's okay. We're not gonna judge you over here. Maybe your red pill counterparts might judge you, but it's okay. We're not gonna judge you. Go. Get out the closet. Go on, get out. It's okay.
Hassle me, and it's nice and easy. So
A business for which he is currently under investigation and for which charges have been pressed.
Those old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the current case. Absolutely zero. Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
After the webcam business, Andrew Tate became an OnlyFans business owner.
She's also encouraging people to follow her on OnlyFans if they want to see even naughtier pictures. You can subscribe to Mia Khalifa.
He turned many women under deceptive methods into sex workers and had sex with them and established love relationships with them for the sole purpose of turning them into employees, while making them believe that there is something special between them, because that's how they would obey him and make him money. He even said in the past, at least about his webcam business, that most of his webcam girls did not do any sex work in the past. He introduced them to that. And he also doesn't have any regrets.
Give a solitary fuck.
Andrew Tate is not married. He has multiple girlfriends who all live with him in his home and who work for him. And he has sex with them while they show their bodies on the internet. In addition to all of this, Andrew Tate has
but before he even goes further, because here's the thing, everyone's they're giving Sneeko that work, right? And they're calling Sneeko a cuck and whatnot because he goes to swinger parties, right? They're going to Adam 22 and his relationship with his girl, right? Letting the other dude come in and do what he's got to do, right? So these guys shame it, right? Even guys like Andrew Tate, when he was even offered up Adam 22's wife, shamed all that down, leading to Candace Owens coming out and saying, you know what, another man offering up his woman, all right, to another man outside the relationship is just degeneracy, right? Candace Owens said that. Okay, come to find out, Tristan Tate's baby mama is actively being pimped by Tristan Tate, and she's showing her body on OnlyFans. I shit you not. There's evidence of Tristan Tate himself bragging about that. Not only that, he even brags about demoting her from a 4-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom house, all because she did something he didn't like. Let that sink in. He's pimping the mother of his child. And the conservatives love it. Like, how can anyone take you bozo seriously, huh? Come on, let's just be real. Cancel culture. You really think you're going to win with this shit? You really going to think you're going to win with the conspiracies? This guy literally prostitutes his own baby moms. That shit, if this was somebody else that y'all didn't agree with, y'all would be lambasting, tarring, and feathering them out of town. But when it comes to Tristan Tate pimping out his own baby moms, Christian values, Islamic values out the fucking window. Jesus. Like, you guys are a bunch of pathetic morons, huh? Hey, you're just so stupid. Like, I mean, come on. How can y'all have this kind of mentality and thinking, bro? Like, how can y'all do this? It's not fair. It's not fair. You can't be this stupid, bro. Like, he pimps out his baby mom. Candace, hey, hello, hi. I don't think there's anything more degenerate than raising a child knowing fully well that child knows his mother is being pimped out on OnlyFans by his own father. And you want to tell me those kids are not going to be fucked up when they grow up? Come on. You guys are living in a fairy tale. Honestly, you guys have been bamboozled. Wake up and smell the mustard. Tristan Tate is the scumbag.
In running a business where he teaches others how to do these things, how to lure women, how to find vulnerable, suitable women, and how to turn them into online sex workers, even if they don't want to.
You cannot get a girl to work for you haven't fucked. You message them on Instagram. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. Then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's gonna say yes. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Bruh, he's literally using pimp terms. Like how much proof do you need? God damn.
First girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there going, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit. And now I do this, I make so much money. Martinis, 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 bang, threesome. Slam them both. Your bottom bitch knows. This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day. So the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka. Put on the fucking chatterbait. 100 tokens per shot. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You don't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls.
You've captivated young men, and that is a very important demographic.
What great influence by Candace Owens standards, right?
And so the question that I will ask is, how many people are going to allege abuse from Steven Crowder before we listen? Before we stop saying he's one of us because he says things that he agrees with? We purport that we are the party of family values. How can you look at that video and defend him in any way? How can you look at that video and not roundly condemn this and say this is not something that actually represents the things that we believe?
And also,
that's a great question, Ken.
Guess what?
That's a
Andrew
great
Tate
question.
thinks and still says today that the average man should go out and have sex with as many women as possible because that's what makes them powerful.
You just got to do you, baby.
Speaking strictly in terms of morality, by the standards that Candace Owens gave us, it is very obvious that Mia Khalifa's actions, whether you agree with them or not, whether I agree with them or not, are significantly less severe than Andrew Tate's actions. But Candace Owens strictly condemns and rejects Mia Khalifa, but promotes and supports Andrew Tate. Can this be made more obvious than it already is?
Look at this guy's resume too. It's just goddamn. He was a porn star. He modeled nude online. He had a webcam empire. Made multiple women work in porn. Made women work on OnlyFans. Recruited women by lying. Turned them into sex workers. Sold drugs. Scammed people. Accused of rape. Never been married, but has a bunch of different girlfriends. But Candace Owens looks at that as, no, that's okay. It's cool. It's a cool thing to do. All right. But Mia Khalifa, all right. Oh, she was a porn actress. Goddamn. You belong in the depths of hell. The center of it. Okay. You belong in the jaws of Satan. That's Candace Owens, right? Oh, she said divorce is okay. Oh, hell no. Jesus ain't okay with that. Send her to hell. You see the hypocrisy. And this little chart right here just kind of exemplifies that. It just says, hey, look, it looks like we're biased here, huh? And maybe all that fair and good reporting, or fair and balanced reporting, I'm sorry, looks like that. We could just throw that in the trash too. We could just throw that in the trash too. Conservatives, huh? What, balanced? What does that mean? Balance? That doesn't mean anything. What do you mean? Come on. No, we want people that stick to what our talking points are. Again, I'm letting you guys know this right now, okay? What's happening here is the reason why a lot of the right, all right, people, the conservatives, okay, the reason why they're willing to throw away their integrity for Andrew Tate is because Andrew Tate aligns with them politically. And because he aligns with them politically, you're seeing them draw literally parallels to Donald Trump and his current prosecution or indictment that he's going through right now. Think about that. Though, listen, for those of you conservatives out there that still care about Donald Trump winning, y'all better put a stop to this comparison to Andrew Tate, because that's gonna, I can't think of anything that could further smear the right from future anything if they compare Donald Trump to basically the right-wing version of Jeffrey Epstein. Just letting that be known. But if you think that's bad, no. it gets even worse. So What Do You Do meme, shout out to What Do You Do meme, actually did a video, and the last time I reacted to What Do You Do meme's video, What Do You Do meme basically broke down Andrew Tate and the very many lies he told on Tucker Carlson, right? But now he's doing another breakdown of the very many lies that was told on the Candace Owens interview, and how in his eyes, a lot of this is starting to be very, very alarming, right? And the reason why it's becoming alarming, because he's one of those guys who's sounding the alarms to a lot of the conservatives out there and letting them know, hey, we may have grifters in our midst. That's essentially what he said. Hey, conservatives, we kind of need to wake up here, because Candace Owens might not actually be as solid as we originally thought, right? She might not be as solid, and maybe it's not a good idea to keep embracing Andrew Tate, because the further this gets along, the more likely he's going to be convicted and be guilty of these different crimes, all right? And he's going to be doing a lot of time, all right? So I'm telling you, the backlash is bad. For those of you guys who are saying, Luke, I don't see a backlash. What are you talking about? Candace Owens is fine after that Andrew Tate interview. No. Like, I don't think you guys understand how bad this is looking for her career right now. Like, in short term, you might not see a change. She might be getting views. But long term, as we get along here and her friendship with Andrew Tate starts to become uncovered, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad for these guys, right? B2Cool, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. B2Cool says, a super chat to start the rumor mill. I think Andrew Tate low-key smashed Candace Owens. Feel free to spread the fire and ruin Candace, y'all. I don't know, because I don't think Andrew Tate, listen, the reason why I find that hard to believe is because Candace Owens, Andrew Tate, I believe, even though he's black, I think he plays towards the fact that he's racially ambiguous. Because you look at a guy like Andrew, yeah, he probably looks more black than Tristan, but they don't look. They could. There's a reason why these guys are able to garner the support of a lot of the white demographic, right? The white male demographic is because they don't look like traditional black dudes. Okay, like they don't look like that. Okay, I mean, if they had Kai Cenat look, okay, they probably won't go as far as they're going right now, because they have a lot of like far right conservative support, even more than Candace Owens, right? Because Candace Owens is black. She's obviously black, right? But she's not going to go as high or go as far as someone like Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, because this, again, is the skin color. You guys don't want to admit it. It's the truth, okay? Andrew Tate, matter of fact, it's proof, because Candace has to get clout off of him, because he's gone so far in this conservative movement. She has to chase him. So he's able, and him and his brother Tristan, they're able to go as far into this because of the way they look. All right, it's not that hard. Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is guys like that, they typically won't prefer a Candace Owens. All right, if you look at the roster of women that Tate deals with, it's usually these blonde or brunette model-esque type of women who are moving around. You're not seeing a Candace Owens in his harem, okay? Look through you're not seeing a Candace Owens. So chances are he's not attracted to a woman like Candace Owens. But that's not going to stop a woman like Candace Owens to dream. I don't know. Maybe that's true. I don't know if she's dreaming of having fantasies with Andrew Tate. I don't know. But I can definitely tell you this. Andrew Tate's not looking at that. I don't even think her husband is even checking her like that. I'm just being real, right? I think her husband would much rather be with Andrew Tate than Candace Owens, if y'all know what I mean. So I'm not going any further than that, bro.
Stop with Candace Owens. It goes much, much deeper. Now, first off, I don't know Candace's motives, but if you start watching the first few minutes of her interview with Andrew Tate, you'll quickly notice that she seems to be taking a protective posture towards Tate as they address the damning clips going around of Tate bragging about the same crimes he's currently being charged with.
So I did see a mashup clip that we're not going to show because I thought it was unfair. I will say that. Yeah. Only because there was no context provided to the clips. It was, and I also take exception to, I think, digging back 10 years. How have you transformed? And I've seen changes just, I think, in the last 5 years.
Yep. The idea that you did something 10 years ago, which you would no longer agree with, is one thing. I don't think anybody is finding any clips from the last 5 to 6 years which have anything negative in them.
Right.
Dude, the clips we just watched were literally from 2 to 3 years ago. He's saying the last 5 years. Nigga, we found it in the first 3. In the first 3 years of you incriminating yourself on multiple red pill platforms, all right? Like, the fact that Candace Owens couldn't even see this coming is beyond anybody. Porsche 911 fan, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Says, Tate, I don't give a damn if I screwed a lonely man. Also, Tate, they're trying to put me back in jail. Please have a good person. Also, Tater Tots versus Bots. Facts. Because on one hand, he doesn't give a shit about the men that he screwed over. But on the other hand, he's like, I need help. The Matrix against me. And that's why he's got to play this media game. Okay, everything it's all optics for him. Okay, because this is the way he makes his money, y'all. Like, if it wasn't for social media, he's done. He's got nothing, right? And you know, it's like a double-edged blade because he needs it to make money and fund this this trial that's about to happen. But he also needs it to stay relevant, okay? Because if the social media dies, your relevancy goes with it. I don't care how big of a YouTuber or bit of a social media content creator you were. Eventually, people are gonna forget you, all right? And he doesn't want that because the internet is how this bozo makes money.
I think you've changed. That's why I said over the last 5 years, I think there's been a seismic shift.
All right. So given the conversation so far, they seem to be in agreement that those damning clips of Tate were made 10 years ago and that now Tate is a changed man. The only problem is those clips that were included in the mashup were not all from 10 years ago. And in fact, out of the main 3 clips that were shown in the mashup, one of them was streamed only 3 years ago and another one was streamed only 2 years ago. And the one that was streamed live in
Boom! Tater Tots, stop lying to yourselves.
2020, again, not 10 years ago, Tate seemed very proud of his past work and was actively selling his PhD course, which was, by definition, a course on how to do the very thing that he was arrested for.
Yeah, on CobraTake.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
Clever.
And
Clever.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well.
And here's another video that was filmed during the pandemic in which Tate not only talks about being involved in the same pornographic business, but he also demonstrates for us his views on women, which don't seem any different than his views were in the oldest clips that we have of Tate.
Currently filming this during the COVID pandemic. You may be watching this later on, but right now during the pandemic, I also an OnlyFans.
When was COVID, y'all? Could somebody tell me when was COVID? Wasn't that 2020, 2019, 2020? I'm doing the math right now. We're in 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. Oh, it seems like that was 3 years ago. Tate, a lot of the videos they found on you, they're less than 5 years old, my guy. How can you tater tots believe what he's saying? Like, it just proves, this proves everything out of this guy's mouth. You guys are just going with it. It's just all, trust me, bro, no research. He's telling you, actively telling you right now, the prosecutors, they're pulling up videos and exposing videos that were over 5 years ago, over 6 years ago, 10 years ago. He can't keep his own story straight. But the actual timestamp, if you guys did your research, was literally less than 3 years ago. Literally. The most recent one was last year in 2022. Like, what are we doing? Come on, like, come on, chat. What's wrong with our boys? What's wrong with our boys, bro? Like, you know that meme with the Vito Corleone, right, from The Godfather, when Sonny got massacred, right? And it's like, look how they massacred my boy, right? Y'all know that meme, right? That's what's popping in my head right now. Look how they massacred our boys. They massacred our boys. Like, how can y'all believe this shit? Come on, bro. Andre Wilson, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. He says, damn, that's a whole lot of self-snitching at its finance. Facts. Like, he profited off of these videos. He says, when trial comes out, I'm going to have some popcorn and enjoy the show. Facts. Now, here's the crazy thing. The trial isn't going to be publicized, but I'm thinking that after trial, when he gets convicted, and yes, I said when he gets convicted, I know it pisses off a lot of you tater tots out there, but I don't care, bro. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when, okay? When he gets convicted, I think more and more facts that the prosecutors have would probably be leaked all right, and more, at least the facts that were used to convict them, they're going to be leaked, and even that alone is going to be damning to Andrew Tate's Matrix defense that he's trying to put up. But shout out to you. It's going to be crazy, but I don't think they're going to publicize it like some of these major trials. But he can't help himself from self-snitching.
Business. For the last 2 to 3 years, I've been making money on OnlyFans from its inception all the way up till now. And the reason I started this course is because a lot of people have been asking me, Tate, how do you get girls to work for you on OnlyFans? Why would a girl work for you and not decide to do it by themselves? First things first, the reason women need a man to do OnlyFans is the same reason a woman need a man to do anything, because they're incompetent and they're very, very lazy. And they're stupid.
All right, now let's be clear on what this doesn't show. This doesn't show that he's guilty of his current crimes, but what it does show is that it's not enough to dismiss those past clips on the premise that Tate has proven himself to be a changed man in the last 5 to 10 years. In fact, as far as I can tell, Tate didn't show any significant change in his attitude about his past behavior prior to his arrest. In the Full Send podcast interview of Tate, which was recorded not too long before his arrest, Tate not only bragged about what he did in the past, but he also said that he didn't feel bad at all for the men that he deceived into losing their homes and life savings.
So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, the out. And they were talking to ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. So like, and it's basic shit, right? You have a guy.
Feel bad or no?
No, give a solitary.
Now, that was from a year ago, so I'll let you decide. Does this sound like a man who radically changed his mindset about his cam modeling business and the way that he thinks about women? Now, of course, it's possible that he changed his mindset after his arrest. And if so, we'd expect for him to be regretful about the things that he said and done in his past. But even when he's talking to Candace, he said that he's not regretful for what he did and he's not sorry for it either.
I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit and apologize for his past. I'd be a fool and I'd be disingenuous to sit here and pretend I was sorry for something I did in the past. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be very honest to everyone at home. I think I could have done much worse things. I know many people from my circumstances who did many things worse than what I did. And all in all, I'm not going to sit and pretend I'm sorry for something I'm not sorry for.
So I don't know how much Tate has changed since his arrest, but one thing that I do know is the fact that Candace seems to be deceived by this narrative that he's changed drastically in the last 5 to 6 years. And unfortunately, it gets worse. If you spend even a half hour researching the things that Tate says, you'll see that almost everything that he said to Candace Owens has been contradicted by what he said elsewhere.
I ended up opening a webcam company where girls would sit on a laptop and they would talk to guys on the internet for money. That's what they would do.
So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking.
The girls would sit there fully clothed or a bikini. Some of them would paint pictures. Some of them would sing songs.
I ran a webcam studio, which people find very interesting. I had naked girls sitting on the internet talking to guys.
The girls would sit there fully clothed or a bikini.
They're sitting there with their tits out on a computer.
They're sitting on a computer. They're getting paid just like if they were sitting in any other job and getting paid. They just haven't got the top on.
I didn't sell drugs.
So when I was 24, 25, I sold drugs. Long time ago now.
I didn't sell drugs.
Let me be honest and open about my past. I was a fighter, but fighting wasn't paying the bills, sold drugs, whatever.
I didn't sell drugs.
So I'm selling drugs.
First off, how long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago, I stopped. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet.
For 4 years, I ran a webcam studio.
You do that still?
I have 3 girls who still work for me.
Not to mention that Tate's business partner and brother Tristan said on the live stream just 1 year ago that the cam business was still going as well.
The cam business is it's still going because my most loyal girls will never leave me. That's why it's going. So I have these girls on these various webcam websites who will never, ever, ever leave. So it's not that I need the money or that I want to do it. It's just that I know these girls aren't going anywhere. If I managed to bully them out of Romania and kick them out of the country, they'd be happy at making far less money by themselves. I may as well keep the business together if you're going to make it that easy for me.
And the Tates always say that there's absolutely no evidence against them.
These are only some of the files and transcripts on the Tates. Does this look like no evidence?
Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
Well, that's odd since the indictment specifically is citing incidents from 2016, 2017, 2018, and all the way up until their arrest in 2022.
Boom! Again, tater tots research, it doesn't meet. It doesn't compute. I can guarantee you right now, I'm willing to put how much can I do this? Right now, on the spot, I can put up $5,000. Right now, the majority of Tate fans right now have not read the indictment. I can almost guarantee you the Tate stands or the tater tots who are out there fucking caping for Tate right now, they have not read this indictment, because the way you can prove they haven't read the indictment is the arguments they're using against like what's going on with Andrew Tate right now. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh no, they're taking irrelevant videos from 10 years ago. No. It's very relevant. It's actually very relevant. They're using all of those things as evidence. Yes, where did you get that idea that they weren't? Did you not read the affidavit? They're going all the way back to 2016 when your boy Trump got elected. They're going way back to that. Okay, so what? I can tell you guys didn't read this. Oh, they're only charging him for stealing TikTok accounts, Duke. Okay, no. See, again, I could tell you didn't read the indictment, because they're saying TikTok accounts were used as a tool. Okay, you get me? It was used as a tool to recruit these young boys or boys to go ahead and pay for OnlyFans. All right, and some of these women, all right, had kids with Tristan Tate. Okay, so you can effectively pay to see Tristan Tate's baby mama naked. Make that make sense, bro. These are the same guys that demonize OnlyFans, yet he has no problem pimping out the mother of his own child. Again, any one of you tater tots that want to sit there and debate this, there's $5,000 on the line. Let me know. Let me know, because I can almost tell you didn't read this indictment. What am I talking about? I can definitely tell you didn't read the indictment. All of your evidence is trust me, bro. That's it. And this is proof of it, because everything you're using doesn't work.
Everything from these old videos, old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the criminal case.
According to the large 86-page case file that you can get legally through Romania's Freedom of Information Act, on page 61, you'll see that they're quoting Tate out of several of his past videos and using that as evidence against them. It even explicitly says on the file that the judge could not agree with the defense's claim that these video contents show only one character and cannot be taken into account. So when Tate says that none of it's relevant to the case and that none of it can be found in the case file and so on, he's counting on you to just take his word for it. Because as you can see, they are clearly in the case file and anyone can get access to this information, which I've linked down below.
Anyone can get access to it. Anyone can get access to it. So why is it that majority of our young men are choose to be dumb? You sit here and pretend to do research, but all y'all do is get spoon-fed videos. You sit here and pretend that these guys you're watching these videos from are changing your life, but at the end of the day, all you're doing is sitting down and watching videos. Your life hasn't changed because of this man. This man doesn't give a fuck about changing your life. He only cares about fueling his own pockets. That's it. And you were just a pawn in it. All of y'all are just like, listen, this is stuff that is easily accessible. And that's what I'm saying. I'm willing to bet you guys don't do anything. You don't read. You don't do any research. It's all emotion. Yet you have the balls to come out here because we're trying to tell y'all that you guys are the ones who are actually stuck in the matrix. You're saying that we're the ones who are crazy. You're saying we're the ones who are living in the matrix. Oh, yeah, no, you guys need to get unplugged, okay? Andrew Tate is definitely getting attacked by the matrix because he's speaking facts. No. Guys like Coach Red Pill, he's being attacked by the matrix for free speech, right? They don't like the way he said things about Ukraine, so he went to jail. I don't agree with that, all right? That's crazy scary, right? But that happens in certain Eastern European countries, okay? And I say Eastern European countries because a lot of their governments are known for corruption and, they don't have freedom of speech like the West, right? Because Andrew Tate criticized the West, right? Yo, the U.S., you guys are so soft. guess what? It's harder for us to jail you for just speaking your words. Okay, it's easier for these other countries that you move to because of the corruption to jail you for your speech. You understand that, right? So maybe some of these Western countries, maybe they're not perfect, but it's the best we've got, right? Because at least there'd be an uproar if a United States citizen, which Andrew Tate is, was locked up in prison because of free speech. But of course, we know that's not the case. We know the real reason why he's getting locked up. This dude was a trafficker. He was an internet pimp. Okay, his brother pimped out the mother of his child. I can't get over that shit, bro. Chat, I cannot get over this shit, bro. How can you be pimping out the mother of your child on OnlyFans, yet lecture men about relationships and responsibility and traditional family values? That's crazy to me, bro.
I want to be clear. That doesn't mean that they're guilty of the crimes. It just means that they've been consistently lying about their crimes and the nature of their case. But maybe the most disturbing thing about all of this is the fact that Candace helped Tate mislead people on what he's actually being charged with, making it sound as if he's only being charged with being nice to women.
There seems to be this understanding that you are being prosecuted, or you're being indicted rather, for human sex trafficking charges. I've read the indictment, and I do want to make it clear the words human sex trafficking occur on the indictment, but then it makes it very clear that what they're referring to is they've kind of extended the term. It's not what we think about in America when you think of a bunch of children being put into a truck and taken over the border against their will. They're basically saying that if you trick a woman into coming into a country by using the lover boy method, then they consider that to be human sex trafficking. So the definition has definitely expanded over time.
And here's where I genuinely start to question if Candace both read and understood the indictment. Even on the
Candace, I would bet money didn't read. I would bet money that she read the indictment, because I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's not that stupid. But what I'm saying is she read the indictment and chose to be ignorant to it. Right. So I think that's the game Candace is playing. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's hard to believe that she did not read this. Come on. She was able to find the claims on Emma Gabby, right? She found Andrew Tate's claims on Emma Gabby. So she's able to find those claims and research guys like Keith Fox, who actually great Emma Gabby, right? If she's willing to research that, chances are she's probably willing to research the indictment too. So I'm going to give her the benefit of doubt, okay, Candace, that you actually research the indictment. But where I kind of just, criticize you is the fact that you left all of this shit out. You and Tucker Carlson. Matter of fact, if anything, Tucker Carlson, I would actually believe didn't read this. If someone is saying, listen, Duke, I bet you $500, all right now that Tucker Carlson didn't read the indictment, I'd say I believe it. You don't even need to bet me, dog. I think that guy didn't do any research. I think Elon Musk just told him, hey, go do this interview with Andrew Tate, and he just went, okay, and he sat down and did it. That's Tucker Carlson. But I mean, what do you want? What do you want, bro? Candace Owens didn't read shit. Well, she did, or maybe she did. I don't know. Shane, shout out to you for the 2000 chat. He says, dude, Kevin Samuels mentioned the Matrix before Tate. Facts. But if you notice, he didn't mention it in the way that Andrew Tate is mentioning it, right? If anything, Kevin Samuels, his idea of the Matrix was more of like, okay, you have these mainstream media platforms like YouTube, right? And YouTube, you got to understand, they have certain policies and community guidelines that you can't cross, okay? And at the end of the day, ultimately, the Matrix is that these platforms that we're making money off of are private platforms. So if you want to survive on these private platforms and the institutions that they're building around it, you have to play by the rules, right? That's Kevin Samuels' idea of the Matrix, which it kind of makes sense, which majority of people do, right? They play the rules and then some of them play to win, right? And that's just how it works, right? So Kevin Samuels was very successful utilizing YouTube to get successful, and a bunch of other guys were successful at doing that too as well, right? Leveraging YouTube to make it using the Matrix. Andrew Tate is a different story. Andrew Tate is using the Matrix as some conspiracy, a hidden hand, shadow kind of situation that's going on that is trying to control society and weaken men. No. It's not that. Yeah, our policies that are currently in place legally attributing to, men not having such a great being in a great situation right now overall. Yes, you can. There's no denying. There's certain laws in the books that it puts that whole equality thing into question. But realistically, if you gotta talk about like the matrix of there's a conceited idea to basically get men moving in this direction and people moving in this direction, and Klaus Schwab and the Jew conspiracy and all these different things, right? Okay. Listen, you lost me. you lost me. And that's the thing. In chat, remember a long time ago where I told you these red pillars suffered from a syndrome called the Alex Jones syndrome? Y'all remember? Who are my real OGs out here? I want to know where y'all at. Remember I brought up, I was the first one to coin this. I call it the Alex Jones syndrome, right? And the reason why I call it the Alex Jones syndrome is because Alex Jones is known for basically spreading a lot of conspiracy with little nuggets of truth, and that's why he gets away with a lot of stuff he gets away with, right? So you sit there and listen to Alex Jones, and he's rambling off, and at first it's like, yeah, I have seen that, and I've noticed those patterns and things like that, right? And then he drops in, oh yeah, they're using that to turn the frogs gay. What? Wait, hold up. Pause. Where did we jump? Would you lose me at? I gotta backtrack, Alex. All right, and that's the same thing with a lot of these red pillars. They go through the whole conspiracy flow, and then they hit you with the agenda. That's it. Again, these red pillars and these conservatives are no different from the left that they're trying to blame right now. They just want more votes for their guy. That's it. Okay. Muad'Dib, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Muad'Dib says Tate changed the lives of the women he trafficked. Facts. And it's not for the better. A lot of them are scarred for a bit, man. Hugo, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says the definition has expanded. The law is the same. Right. And guess what? The law has been the same since before Tate was like even a teenager. Right? It's an internationally recognized rule of what the definition of human trafficking is worldwide, right? So the fact that these guys are coming up with these crazy copes to rationalize their buddies' atrocities when it comes to women and trafficking, come on, bro. Let's just be real.
Screenshot of the indictment that she shared. On the parts that she didn't highlight, it makes it clear that this was done with the aim of sexually exploiting the women. Now, just so we're clear, he's not being charged with simply being nice to women. The charge is not simply deceiving women, but deceiving women into doing sex work with the goal of making him money. That's something that's not only illegal, but also something that Tate has admitted to and bragged about in several videos in the past.
Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense. Like I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me.
You got John Anthony I had sex with 1,500 women. So I know exactly what you're talking about, buddy. Yeah. Like look at him. Look at this bozo, right? And this guy's career is completely ruined. Like I don't know if you guys haven't seen the video I've done on this guy already, go check it out. His career is donezo, bro. Like you can't take him seriously, especially after he exposed that Alex did on him, bro. This guy brags about sleeping with all these women, and majority of them were probably paid for. All right. I mean, even his girlfriend, bro, like, oh my God, it gets bad. Go watch that. It's insane. Alex dropped a lot of information. It was insane, bro. I couldn't believe it myself.
Now, whether or not you think that loverboy trafficking should be illegal or not is one thing. But when it comes to the law, what's certain is that the Tates have admitted in several videos to doing it in the past. And it's a flat out lie to say that he's only being charged with being too nice.
They've accused me of using the loverboy method because basically I was a nice person.
Wow.
I was nice.
Wow.
So when Candace says that they're stretching the definition of trafficking in Tate's case,
they are kind of stretching the definition of sex trafficking in your case. I've taken a look at it.
She must not be aware that what he did fits the definition of trafficking perfectly. And that's a definition that like 173 countries agreed on more than 23 years ago when Tate was like 12. This isn't a new and stretched definition made to frame Tate. This is an old definition that hasn't been stretched.
Boom. It just proves Candace Owens is a liar, bro. Literally, this rule has been in place since before Tate even grew balls, all right? How can you say they stretched it just to attack him? Make it make sense, Tater Tots. This has already been in place and recognized by over 100 countries, but yet, for some reason, in 2023, all right, it's been stretched to frame Tate. Y'all are sleeping. He's going to prison. He's going to prison, chat. You are sleeping. Wake up, okay? Wake up, okay? He's going to prison. He's going to prison. I don't know what else to tell you, bro. There is no matrix. There are rules, and if you break the rules, you're going to prison.
Definition made to frame Tate. This is an old definition that hasn't been stretched. But what's worse is that Candace tells her audience that trafficking is the same thing as what happens on 90 Day Fiancé.
Essentially what they're saying is we have a show in America called 90 Day Fiancé. That is the lover boy method, is women that go over to the US. They're clearly coming for citizenship, but these women kind of get duped and they sponsor these people. This would be the same vein of what they're trying to describe. I've read it myself of what
What? Hold on.
Essentially what they're saying is we have a show in America called 90 Day Fiancé. That is the lover boy method, is women that go over to the US. They're clearly coming for citizenship, but these women kind of get duped and they sponsor these people. This would be the same vein of what they're trying to describe. I've read it myself of what human sex trafficking can be, which is
it's an
a woman fell for you, fell in love, moved over here overseas, but it's only because you were very convincing.
That's stupid. She's comparing it to 90 Day Fiancé. Candace, have you watched an episode of 90 Day Fiancé? Because first of all, that shit is hilarious. Yo, if you guys haven't seen 90 Day Fiancé, that shit is funny as hell. And B, I can tell you don't watch it because that's not how 90 Day Fiancé works. Actually, both sides are opportunists, okay? Usually one side wants a visa and the other side wants a good-looking wife or husband. Okay, so there's a trade-off there. It isn't one being scammed because there's a lover boy method involved. No, because if that was the case, the producers of 90 Day Fiancé would all be locked up. Lock them all up for promoting lover boy method and trafficking and televising it. That's crazy. That's a crazy comparison that Candace is making right now, and I actually cannot believe it. Like, what? No, like 90 Day Fiancé, it's a mutual thing. You usually got like people who are, you would say, have it hard to find husbands and wives in certain Western countries. And then what they do is they go to third world countries to find better looking options. It's kind of like reverse passport, bro, where they just fly in the woman or man for you, right? That's basically it. That's 90 Day Fiancé. It's a reverse passport, bro, right? So instead of you flying out to these third world countries or all these other countries, they fly them over to you. See how it works for 90 days. Bro, Candace is so dumb. Jesus.
That is the definition given in the indictment of what they're referring to.
Correct. So
no, not even close. That's literally not the definition, nor what's being described in the indictment. I mean, if Candace were even close to being right, then she would also have to say that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a trafficker either, since he didn't have women locked up in chains, and plenty of the women felt free to leave. In fact, a lot of the women there were also happy and wanted to stay. So does that mean that Epstein wasn't a trafficker? Of course not. This just shows a fundamental misunderstanding of what the law actually is. And when it comes to Tate's case, contrary to what Candace says, of course, that isn't what the charge says in the indictment. In the indictment, it's about recruiting women with the intent to deceive them into doing sex work for you, not being nice. So not only is she wrong in being misleading here, so is he.
They've accused me of using the lover boy method because basically I was a nice person. I was nice. That's the thing that's so most people don't understand about the law. It's so ridiculously subjective. If they want to weaponize it and use it to attack you, that's exactly what they'll do.
The law existed before you were a teenager, you bozo. All right, Jesus, like, oh my goodness. Kungaroo, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. It's off topic. Your Anton Kuhn show was last night was epic. You got to tackle Angry Man's version of the Kuhn parade. Angry Man did a video on this. Oh my God, I guess we got to do it. It's going to be a long week, guys. It's going to be a long week and the weekend. So shout out to you. Get your bottoms up right now. It's going to go crazy.
They can accuse any man of using the lover boy method if you send nice messages on a text message. If you're like, hey, baby, how are you?
So did you,
if you were nice.
That's so ridiculous that it's almost funny. I mean, does anyone actually believe that? Again, what's illegal is being nice with the intent on deceiving women into doing sex work for you so that way you can make money. That's the problem, not simply being nice to women. But here's where Candace's bias becomes undeniable and, in my opinion, damaging to the public opinion of the case. You may recall a time in the interview where Candace says this.
And I also take exception to, I think, digging back 10 years. I don't know who could survive that litmus test. I'm 34 years old today, and it would really be unfair if we went and found Candace at 24 years old, liberal, dancing at One Oak, and said, well, look at these clips of Candace Owens. Fortunately, I had no cameras in my face 10 years ago. You somehow did.
This is odd, given the fact that Candace has not only dug up the past of people like George Floyd and literally anyone on the other side of the political aisle, but shortly after this interview, Candace went on to defend Tate some more by digging up the last several years of one of Tate's accusers.
Before she ever met a Tate brother, Emma Gabby was a sex worker. She had her own Pornhub account, and she could be contacted via a sex hotline. Again, that is before she ever met a Tate brother. She also had an OnlyFans account and a TikTok account before she ever met a Tate brother. She also was active on the website seekingarrangements.com, which, if you guys are not familiar with seekingarrangements.com, it's essentially a sugar baby website. So it's young.
Guys, again, who are the majority users of sugar baby or whatnot, these sugar daddy, sugar baby sites, right? It's these red pillars. I can't tell you how many times Myron has promoted some of these sugar baby dating sites, right? They even have a course on how to date for free on these sugar baby dating sites, right? And these sites are known for attracting a lot of these troubled teens that are more likely to lie about their age. And so it's crazy how y'all are just setting yourselves up for this kind of failure, bro. And they're actively promoting this kind of stuff, right? While it's claiming this culture is degenerate, y'all are promoting this shit. I just find this insane.
Young girls.
I don't believe that people who sit and attack somebody for their past, especially something from so long ago, are genuinely virtuous. I don't think it's about virtue. I think it's about, well, I can get some clicks this way, or I can get some views that way.
Now, of course, Candace is digging up this woman's past because she believes that it may be indirectly relevant to whether or not the girl is telling the truth about what happened in the case. But for some reason, when Candace is shown a half dozen clips of Tate literally admitting the Loverboy trafficking in the past, she suddenly thinks that digging up someone's past is wrong and irrelevant to the case.
I do think what's happening right now is they are wrongly conflating you having run a webcam business, however long it was ago, to the criminal cases happening in Romania. And this is why I interject into my voice. And I also take exception to, I think, digging back 10 years.
So why are the countless clips like this not relevant to Tate's character and whether or not he's innocent or guilty?
I them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do.
Now, this truly makes you wonder how Candace was able to provide 1 hour of evidence and research in defense of Tate going against a single victim, but seemingly didn't do any research when it comes to evidence that could go against Tate. I mean,
Facts! That's such a clear... Yo, that is such a clear point. You can't, like... Candace, it's obvious. It's obvious that your integrity isn't there, okay? Because you have an hour-long video basically shaming the victim of Andrew Tate, okay? But when it comes to actually interviewing Andrew Tate and providing evidence that basically that goes against them, in the entire 3-hour podcast, you didn't find not one? Really? Really? Like, come on.
And could you imagine if Tate was a screaming liberal or someone working at CNN? She would have used all of her resources to dig up his past and use that against them. So Candace seems to clearly be playing favorites here. But all is not lost, because one clip that Candace actually did confront Tate about, that clip is actually a really tough one to get out of, because Tate once again described in detail his process of Loverboy trafficking.
You cannot get a girl to work for you, haven't. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You f the girl. After you f the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me.
Okay, so first question, when was this video taken?
But unfortunately, it doesn't appear that Candace even attempted to check the context herself before interviewing him about the clip, or she would have known that Tate was straight up lying to her face about the video. By the way, I've linked the original video down below so you can watch the context in full for yourself, along with the indictment and other sources and clips that I'm talking about in this video. In the original video, the explicit point in its full context is that Tate is actually teaching men how to target and deceive women for the sole purpose of getting them to do webcam and make money for him. He teaches that you do this by going on dates with them, using sex, and having a bottom chick lie and manipulate the girl into doing cam work, which once again, of course, is the very thing that Tate was arrested for. So how can Candace think that that's not relevant to his charges? Here's how he explained the context of the video.
And it's explaining my general overall, explains my life and how things are affected owning a pornography company, because obviously a lot of women will be put off by that. It doesn't explain, it doesn't say, I'd be very careful how I answer this question because I'm currently under an investigation, right? So I'd be very careful how I answer it. People are trying to chop it up and say that it says I am using the Loverboy method to somehow convince women to do things they didn't want to do. But this is simply me explaining, it's actually a dating course I made a long time ago. And
so yeah, you look very young in the video.
I'm super young, and I'm talking about, hey, when you sleep with this girl, or you meet that girl, or you meet this girl on Instagram, and I have a webcam company. I don't tell them I have a webcam company. And I just think all that's kind of crass and it's below me.
Yeah.
And I don't really like talking about it.
You make money off of that. They found those videos in courses, my boy. What are you talking about? That was in your course that you profited off of, teaching men how to be pimps step by step. You forgot that or what? Whoa. You're not that guy anymore, but they caught you up until last year doing the same video. All right, basically breaking it all down for him. You haven't changed. What are you doing? You go, shout out to you for the $5. He says, off topic, have you seen Destiny Adams on WAC show 2 weeks ago? The conversation was wild, but near the end, went deep into community building, recommended. Shout out. I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out. And if it's worth it, we'll cover it. Let's make it happen. Pat Freeman with the $5 super chat. Pat Freeman says, a lot of these red pill dudes don't like the black women. They're missing out. Yeah. Listen, man, I love my sisters. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's nothing like a sister. I'm going to tell you that. Listen, again, it's all preferences. It is what it is, right? You're entitled to whatever you prefer, right? It's you, your mind, whatever. No one's telling you anything, all right? But let's be real. Come on, man. Some of these sisters, y'all can't deny, bro. And I think that's why a lot of these people in the black manosphere, they're just salty and they're mad, is because a lot of these sisters ain't checking for them. I'm gonna be real, bro. Or either they ain't checking for them, or they can't figure out how to like they don't know how to get or work with the sisters now. They don't know how to do it. They're completely clueless. Okay, and it sucks because the only example is the red pill is teaching you of how to have a proper communication between a black man and a black woman is just you screaming at her, or calling her a bitch, or outing out her private life, and shaming her for being a single mother, or certain things. Like, it's just not how you have good dialogue anymore. We don't have that. We don't have that. It's just, if you're not yelling at her, it's not a good show, right? If you're not doing all these crazy things, it's not a good show. And I find it disgusting, to be honest with you.
And it's amazing how things change as you mature and you get older. But yeah, I was talking about how I don't mention I have a webcam business. The basic premise of the video was me explaining that I don't mention I have a webcam business ever, and that I'm Mr. Rich and I have this nice car and I go on dates with girls. And sometimes when I say I have a webcam business, some of them want money and they want to work for me. That's the basic premise of it.
Right.
But what Candace didn't show was the actual context of the video, which if you watch it, you'll instantly realize that this isn't just a dating course. I mean, does this sound like a dating course to you?
Your bottom bitch, a new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. First girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit. and now I do this, I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, I get so much money, blah blah blah, and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and and we're gonna go to Thailand soon, we're gonna be working in Thailand, and we're gonna stay there for as long as you want. You should come with us, it's gonna be so much fun. Martinis.
Look at all of this shit that Candace left out, bro. Y'all see it? Like, look at all this shit she left out, bro. And you expect us to believe she's genuine? Oh my God. Be Too Cool. Shout out to you for the $20 in the chat. Be Too Cool says, yo, I just went around and hit the like button on the clips from the content creators you shown, and you wasn't lying about Candace Owens, bro. They're literally breaking down her whole grift and this looking bad for her. She's done. Facts. Any of the videos, I'm gonna link them. I'm gonna do my best to link them, but like, go subscribe to their channels, go support them, because they're listen. I know we've been criticizing Andrew Tate for the longest time, right? But we're a small channel, and we're small, but we're a mighty channel, right? But listen, us criticizing Andrew Tate is not going to do as much good as much as all these other content creators who are coming out and criticizing them, right? Because now it is showing that larger platforms are looking at this for how ridiculous it is for even young men to consider this guy to be a role model, right? And we want more of that, right? So, like, listen, I want you guys, if you guys haven't even heard of these channels, go subscribe to them, bro, because they are really, really starting to, like, go in, and not only Andrew Tate grift, they're going in on Candace Owens, they're going to go in on Tucker Carlson, they're going in on a lot of these guys, and it is hilarious. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Remember, I told you guys a long time ago, right? Like the Tate, his scenario is gonna go the way of Barack Obama. Remember, I told you guys that, right? And I told you the reason why is that because Obama, when he first got elected, listen, a lot of people didn't care. Obama can be like Trump, walk down, probably shoot somebody, and a lot of people at that time they'd probably like, whatever, you know, it's cool, right? Kind of like how Trump is right now to the right wingers, right? So realistically, because even Obama was bigger than that. Because Obama, the first time Obama got elected, both people on the right and the left, they loved him, right? Because it wasn't like Obama had a lot of love, right? But the things that Obama claimed he stood for after his presidency, both terms, because he served 2 terms and people still fuck with him, right? They started to realize, the whole immigration thing, it turns out he deported a lot more people than we thought, right? The whole the anti-war kind of rhetoric and that he likes to promote every once in a while because he likes to walk that line. Turns out he drone strikes and bombs a lot of freaking countries in the Middle East that a lot of people weren't privy to, right? So you want to talk about all these heinous things like being the president that started slave in Libya, right? Slavery, because after we took out Gaddafi under the Obama administration, right? A slavery kind of worked his way in. So that's horrible. And the Libyan population, they're having a hard time recovering from that, right? So when you look at all these things that happened through Obama's tenure as president, you start to realize maybe, he wasn't he wasn't the hope and change we needed at the time, right? Maybe we needed somebody a little bit more radical, right? And people could say the same thing with George Bush and what's that guy? Al. Who's that guy that Bush ran against, right? Was it Al something, right? He talked about climate change a lot. Well, what's his name? Fuck, I'm forgetting this guy's name, dude. He was like Al something. Cameron Shane. Al Gore. Al fucking Gore, bro. It's like people to say, hey, the world would be different if Al Gore won the presidency instead of Bush, right? Think about it. Think about that, right? It's the same thing. Who would have won, right? John McCain. Actually, think about it. John McCain probably would have been a better choice. I don't know. It seemed like he had a few things not going for him. But enough about politics. Let's get into it, bro. I'm just saying. A lot of people are breaking down a lot of these grifts, and over time, as we get away from this whole Andrew Tate thing, right? Going back to my original point, as we start to get away from this Andrew Tate thing, people are going to start looking at Andrew Tate and the crimes that he did, and they're gonna be like, yeah, I guess he was that scumbag after all, right? And eventually he's gonna be forgotten, right? Again, kind of like Obama, right? Even though Obama was running shit still, from certain spots, I believe it. I believe he's got a lot of power in the Democratic Party. Any one of you guys want to challenge that? Let's debate. Right now, Obama is running shit in the Democratic Party. I don't care what you say, bro. They're running shit over there. All right, but still, he's gonna go the way of that, where people are not going to be looking too fondly of his record, but there's some pockets there that are still going to believe in the Tate, right? So let's continue.
Threesome. Slam them both. Your bottom bitch knows. This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl could sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka. Put on the fucking chatterbait, 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. Do not recruit girls any other way.
Now, to be clear, the point in exposing the context of the clip is not to say that he's necessarily guilty of his current legal case, but instead that he's consistently lying, and Candace fell for all of it. Knowing what you know now, it makes it a lot easier to see past the smoke when Tate says things like this.
And this idea that you're going to find somebody and 10 or 11 years ago, they did something which might even be slightly distasteful, not even illegal, and you're going to crucify him forever. I just don't believe that's genuine virtue. I think it's just an attack. Once again, I was a much younger man. I think if you were to take any 24-year-old and look at the stuff he puts on the internet, some of it's going to be stupid. And I think if you look at anybody who made things 10 years ago, some of it's going to be stupid. It's absolutely not criminal in any regard. There's nothing criminal about it. It has no bearing or any interest in the current case. For the last 17 months, analyzing every aspect of my entire life across the last 10 to 15 years. And what did they find? An old YouTube clip? That's the worst they could find. No,
bro, they found worse. Look at your goddamn phone records and the hard drives. They got a lot of shit, bro. The lies. It just easily rolls off this bozo's tongue, and y'all just buying this hook, line, sinker. I mean, we got RT over here. RT, what do you say? It's not even illegal. Yeah, of course it wasn't illegal, right? Webcamming is not illegal. But getting women who've never webcammed before or even thought about webcamming before over to your mansion, all right, and then convince them to do something that they've otherwise never done before, all right, and then they start making money for you, that whole process right there, RT, let me break this down to you. That process right there is illegal, okay? Because that girl, if you hadn't lied to her, wouldn't have otherwise bid at your mansion, and she wouldn't have otherwise considered being an OnlyFans model if you hadn't had those influence every step of the way. That's the process that's illegal, right? If she starts her, if she knows you were an OnlyFans guy, right, and you manage the studios and whatnot, and she was already on that mentality, and she wanted to go in there and say, yeah, you know what, Tate, I want to pay you to use your studio and whatnot so I can get my clout up on Chatterbait or whatever, right? That's not illegal because the girl's clearly aware of what's going on, right? She knows what's happening. She knows all of that, right? But if that woman literally didn't know, like Andrew Tate specified, he never told them about webcamming until after he had sex with them. Understand, RT? That's illegal. All of that's illegal because it's false. All of this it's literally a process. It's a well laid out process for getting a woman all the way to down the point where she's profiting for you by showing her body in a pornographic manner. I don't know how much more I can specify that for you, RT. Can you please just stop and listen? Just listen, please, bro. Like, god damn. God damn. Moody, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Moody says, have you covered Britney destroying Rolo Spaghettio? It was glorious. She totally set him up. He was crying for her entire stream as she was. I know Rolo did a clapback, and I think that's what I'm going to cover, right? Because I don't. Did she do another video? I might have to check that out. If she did another video, I got to check that out. But I know she had a live stream. I don't know if she dropped another video, but I know Rolo was mad. I never thought I would see the day where Rolo Tomasi would be bested. At least he himself, Rolo, feeling as though he's been bested, right? And it wasn't until that stream, bro. God damn, yeah, we gonna cover that. I haven't covered it yet, but stay tuned, more deep. That's coming. That's coming down the pipeline. Again, it's gonna be a busy week, guys. All right, you gotta stay tuned. Let's continue.
Sexual perversion, no drugs, no genuine criminal acts. They found something semi-immoral in a YouTube clip.
Now, right before I started filming this video, Tucker Carlson's interview with Tristan Tate was just released, and it was just more of the same. Not even 5 minutes into the interview, we see Tristan spreading loads of misinformation about the case, and even going so far as to say that the other girls that were charged along with the Tates were only charged for inviting another girl to a birthday party.
But there are two women involved, yes. My personal assistant and her friend got thrown in prison with me Essentially, their crime was inviting one of the alleged victims to a birthday party that I wasn't even at.
That's Emma Gabby. That's Emma Gabby he's talking about. You can't deny she was found at your mansion by Dicot authorities. She was there.
That happened in this house.
Now, once again, if you've actually read the indictment and you look at the screenshot evidence, you'll see that the girls threatened violence and are accused of being engaged in all kinds of other illegal activities like unauthorized access to computers and accounts, for example.
While she was gone, Georgiana illegally accessed her laptop, illegally accessed her private Facebook account and private WhatsApp account, and she distributed pornographic images of this victim to her friends and family through these platforms. And it's alleged that she did so in front of other girls with the threat of this can also happen to you.
And they were sent to prison with me. One for having the crime of being my personal assistant, and one for the crime of knowing me and showing up at parties where these alleged victims who say they weren't victims were at. And they're charged in this organized criminal
But
gang.
to be clear, none of the charges pertain to sex, rape, selling anyone, slavery, moving people across international borders to pimp them out.
So when Tristan says that they were
no to all of this, but that's exactly what trafficking is. When you traffic a human being from one continent line to another continent, one state line to another, right? It doesn't have to be across the country. You move a woman, all right, from even let's say from, like, I'm in Wisconsin. You move a woman from Wisconsin to Minnesota because Minnesota's right over there. That's trafficking. The FBI is involved right off the bat because that's interstate. And the FBI, they oversee all that, right? So, again, you guys, listen, I think this is part of, again, a lot of people being ignorant to the laws when it comes to trafficking. And realistically, a lot of people, even in the Western countries, not really knowing what trafficking really looks like, right? And I think that's a big flaw. If you want to criticize education, this is one big thing we're really criticizing about education. Like, how are we educating people about what trafficking is? No wonder why human trafficking is so abundant right now, because I think a lot of people, we're not educated on it. We don't know what that fucking looks like. Everybody's idea of human trafficking is like either some people moving across the border, or like what do you call it? The hardcore is like, taken type shit, right? With the what was that guy, Neil whatever his name is, right? Listen, that's not it at all, right? It could be something as easily, I won't say easy, as simple as that, right? Talking to a girl all nice just to convince her to travel to you for you to profit off of her. That process itself is considered trafficking. And you can't call it the Matrix because a bunch of different countries already agreed on that being the definition of trafficking long before some of y'all have been alive. Some of y'all tater tots before you grew balls. That's been there. So you can't say it got sprung just to be used against a guy like Andrew Tate. It's not true.
Arrested for simply inviting a girl to a birthday party and that their charges have nothing to do with sex. He's not telling Tucker the truth. But at least Tucker seemed genuinely confused about the charges and at least tried.
Shout out to Road to Success. Yeah, Liam Nielsen, bro. I'm spacing, bro. I'm sorry. I'm like, the longer I listen to this stuff, I get like, I don't know how y'all can do it, bro. I don't know how y'all do it, bro. Like, y'all ask for this. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But here's the thing. I'm losing brain cells, just even the fact that we have to keep talking about this, right? Like, the fact that people are still making the argument that he's innocent, it's crazy to me. And some of them are saying, well, you got to respect the innocent until proven guilty. I understand that. But that's in Western countries, the same countries he criticized. Romania, they work off of that premise, but their legal system is a little bit different. Their process is different. They can hold you while they do the investigation, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you have the presumption of innocence, and I'm pretty sure that's how the Romanian government is seeing it right now. However, it still doesn't negate the fact that their policies mean they can hold you for as long as they want, at least 180 days, right, until they finish or at least do most of their investigations. Okay, so the fact that you guys are using that as an argument, it doesn't make any lick of sense. Okay, this isn't a freedom of speech or anything issue. It's the stuff they got off of the tips that they got that led to the raid, that led to the indictment. Guys, come on.
Tried to make sense of them for a brief moment.
It's not the fact that as I said, the evidence is junk because they now have to put a case together.
But I'm confused as to how what you're being accused of constitutes human trafficking.
Well, it's a very loose law. It's a very,
but the term doesn't seem to have a real definition.
No, it doesn't.
Now, of course, Tristan isn't being straightforward here, but it's more disturbing to me that Tucker has no idea how to press forward since he seemed to not have even read the indictment.
So that's not connected at all.
Not
to the
at
charge.
not at all. The webcam studio was shut 4.5, 5 years before I allegedly started this kidnapping gang. So they're not connected.
You do not run a web business now.
No, absolutely not.
The cam business is
Look at this guy
going.
Now, with that out the way, this should bother you. It should bother you that both Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson have literally helped the Tates lie to hundreds of millions of people and have helped more young men have justification for seeing Tate as a role model.
Younger boys love you.
Yes.
They absolutely, like the 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old. I have not come across a 12, 13-year-old boy who's not just an Andrew Tate stan.
Yeah.
And I think it's remarkable. It gives you a lot of power.
I do believe that I now have a huge platform, and with young boys, they're exceptionally interested in my case. I do believe to a degree I'm an anti-hero. I do believe to a degree that the harder I'm attacked, the more credibility is given to me in the eyes of my fans. I think that they see, everyone's out to get this guy. Everyone was out to get Batman. This kind of feels that way.
I mean, we're not.
What up? Like, come on, you're comparing yourself to Batman. Jesus Christ, bro. No one's out to get you. They're using laws that existed before you were even a teenager to go ahead and say what you did to make money is against those laws, and they're prosecuting you for it, and they give you an indictment, right? Diana says that's the procedure in most of Europe, Western Europe. Don, and listen, you're right, but the problem is, when you admit that, you also have to admit that the Romanian government, because listen, you can be out on bail, or if you can't afford bail, you can stay in jail until the most Western countries, like even in the U.S., right? They'll usually hold you while they investigate, or you wait for court, right? So it's that, but you also have to acknowledge that what the Romanian government did, like, it was a little bit distasteful and doesn't necessarily vibe with Western ideologies. Is they didn't bring formal charges, right? They didn't bring formal charges, and they held them in jail. So you could, if you want to look at that with Western lens, like I'm not even thinking of America, that doesn't look good, right? And that's actually part of the argument a lot of the tater tots were using, right? They were applying Western arguments to what Romania was doing, because Romania, they kind of did it backwards, because it took a while for them to drop the charges. Meanwhile, in the U.S., they write up your charges while they're booking you, bro. We're charging you with what do you call it, resisting arrest, or we're charging you with a misdemeanor, right? So you get the charges right away. The Romanian government did it a little bit differently. So that's why you have to, it sounds weird, right? But it's true. It kind of looks weird on that part, especially when you consider Romania considered a Western country, right? They kind of did it backwards. But then if you listen to, because there was a bunch of guys that wrote articles that would say that's a normal thing in Romania. So I can't judge Romania if that's how they do it. I'm just not going to go to Romania if I know that they're going to hold me before they even bring charges to me, right? But Andrew Tate went to Romania because of the corruption. So we got to acknowledge those things, I don't know.
We're not talking about petty theft here. We're talking about serious allegations that are worthy of taken seriously. Tate is on trial for rape and human trafficking, and Candace and Tucker have actually helped to give them a defense without seemingly knowing the case at all. Now, because of this, of course, some people have come to the conclusion that Candace and Tucker both know the truth, but were intentionally lying to try to help the Tates. That's possible, but personally, I think that it's a lot more likely that they were deceived by Tate, since they agree with him on some political issues, and they were deceived by his charm and charisma. Tate is really good at being convincing. So if someone's only listening primarily to Tate and what he says about the case, and they haven't looked at the physical evidence or even read the indictment, then of course they're probably going to believe what Tate has to say about the case. And all of this leads us to the larger point that I made at the beginning of the video. Tucker Carlson identifies as a Christian, and Candace Owens also identifies as a Christian, but agrees with Tate when he says things like this.
I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit and apologize for his past. I believe all's well that ends well. I believe we're humans and we grow and we learn. I'd be a fool and I'd be disingenuous to sit here and pretend I was sorry for something I did in the past. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be very honest to everyone at home. I think I could have done much worse things. I know many people from my circumstances who did many things worse than what I did. And all in all, I'm not going to sit and pretend I'm sorry for something I'm not sorry for.
I'm not sorry that I lived this. I don't think I would say that I'm sorry for anything that decisions that I.
Way to be Christian, Candace. Oh, you mean you don't repent? How do you expect to enter the kingdom of God if you don't even repent? Isn't that the one of the basic things, right? I mean, it's just like, whoa. So you're saying, yeah, I know I was a piece of shit when I was back in the day, but I don't repent, right? Andrew Tate, I know I was a trafficker. I know I said some things that don't adhere to the Christian values, but I'm an Islam now. I'm a Muslim now, right? So I don't feel sorry for shit. Because the next time somebody come at me, I'm switching to Buddhism, right? The Islam's no longer cool anymore. I'm going to be a Buddhist. I feel like that's what Andrew Tate's gonna do, bro. $5, bro. Hold up. Matter of fact, let's vote in the chat right now. Listen, chat, I want y'all to vote with me, right? If the backlash, especially when Tate gets convicted, starts to grow, especially in these Muslim communities, right? And they realize that they got bamboozled by recruiting Tate as their spokesperson, right? Instead of Tate taking accountability, right? What's gonna end up happening is, I bet you he's going to switch religions again, right? He's probably going to be like, you know what, Islam, I wasn't feeling it. I'm a Buddhist now because it's all about peace. And I learned peace in prison because in prison, you were in solitary confinement and you have to learn how to work with your thoughts. And I became a very astute student in Buddhism, right? I feel like he's going to switch religions, right? Because I think that's what religion is for a bunch of guys like this. It's just a way for them to either talk about this new thing they're a part of or just a way to shield themselves from any kind of accountability or responsibilities for their past actions, right? Because Andrew Tate was a Christian and all of a sudden now he's all Islam, right? So I don't know. I feel like that's what's coming along the horizon here.
I made when I was young either, because this is the deck of hands that I was given. What do you want me to do?
We've also heard something similar come from Trump when it comes to his past.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
But as Christians, we should be sorry and repentant for the things that we've done in the past. The Bible warns us not to show partiality. As Christians, we have to be intentional about not showing favoritism for our personal advancement. I'm not saying that I know for certain that this is what Candace and Tucker were trying to do, but they were either showing partiality or they were both deceived since they didn't approach his claims with a reasonable degree of skepticism and didn't do any research. When we elevate political parties and men over God in our hearts, we're prone to being deceived by them, even when they're teaching and sharing anti-Christian values. In doing this, we naturally find ourselves wanting to excuse abhorrent and anti-Christian behavior from people that we might align with on political issues, not extending that same degree of charity to those on the other side of the political aisle. This not only leads us to the uncomfortable question of if our loyalty is primarily to Christ or our politics, but it also makes us frighteningly easy to be deceived since our guards get lowered. So perhaps the main takeaway of this video should be to put your trust in Christ and not men. And by the way, if you haven't seen my last video on Tate and the undeniable evidence that he's been lying and deceiving everyone, go ahead and click this video and I'll see you over there.
Check it out, bro. That video, we already reacted to it, but that video was crazy, bro, because it exposed a lot of things. First of all, it exposed that as long as your politics is the same as a lot of these conservatives, you're going to get favoritism. That's it, right? While these guys complain about the Matrix, they're over here building their own, and they don't give a crap as long as you vote in their favor. It's honestly just pathetic to the fact that you guys don't see that, bro. Like, you're being chased from, I don't know who said it. I think it was Abba. Abba said this a while ago, but I think he was debating Sneeko, right? And he was talking about how if you just, I don't know if it was Abba or Destiny. It was one of those two, or maybe they were both on the same stream. But he was saying that if you basically are running from one side and saying that all this one side is guilty of these heinous conspiracies and X, Y, and Z, and all you're doing is going to the other side, right, without any deep thoughts or actually thinking or research that goes into it, you're going from one matrix to another. That's all you're doing. And Sneeko, for the life of him, just couldn't understand that. And I don't blame him, because Sneeko, I mean, let's just be real. What does he understand, right? But chat, that's what we got for you today. I mean, the backlash is growing. The conservative, not just against Candace Owens, but against the entire conservative, it's growing. It's getting pretty bad, right? Like, listen, Andrew Tate was not a good idea. Andrew Tate was not a good buy or a person to back. If anything, this is probably the biggest mistake a lot of you guys in the red pill and conservative sphere have made. You listen, I'm gonna be real with y'all, guys. Okay, you got time. All right, you don't have enough time, but you got time. A lot of you unwilling tater tots who are not willing to come to the truth yet, you got a little bit of time, okay? Because it's only a matter of time before this guy gets convicted, okay? You got from now till trial till the conviction, all right? Because the moment he gets convicted, it's like musical chairs, right? When he gets convicted, the music stops. And if the music stops on Andrew Tate and you're caught protecting this man, you're caught caping for this man, simping for this man, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's over. It's over. So I'm gonna say this right now. You got from now until trial, until conviction. And if you're caught still caping for this man, because after conviction, a lot of evidence is going to be dropped. It's going to be leaked more than what we have going to pre-trial right now, right? But once that gets dropped and you guys are still caught riding the coattails, I don't care if you're a fanboy, I don't care if you're a conservative commentator, you're done as far as credibility. And if you're one of these commentators who literally are guilty of spreading some of these false information that Tate has been parading around town, all right, and you guys don't do a video coming out saying, listen, maybe we got to reevaluate this whole thing we thought about Andrew Tate, right? If you guys don't do any of that, there goes your integrity and your credibility just tossed in the trash, where, to me, where it belongs. It's okay. I'm talking to you, Patrick McDavid. You're exactly what. Listen, like, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of Patrick McDavid, bro. Like, the fact that he gave that interview and he's out here trying to call out Anthony Weiner and all these other guys. He's just proving how much of a clown he is, bro, and how much, like, a bunch of conservatives, you guys just like to link conspiracies, and there's not. It just makes it hard to really take y'all seriously. But chat, what do you think, man? What do you think about what's going on? Do you think the backlash is going to persist? Put a 1 in the chat. Or you believe, you know what, a lot of these guys are just taking these things out of context. That's all you're doing. You're taking it out of context, right? Put a 2 in the chat, and we will we will get you guys on the next show, okay? We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah.